Shoot, shoot, let's start the show.
Welcome to the new and the new and disproved Neverdaily podcast, episode 342. You might be seeing parts of the shiny new guest host. For those that don't know who this human is that you're seeing, because okay, I need to introduce you and then we'll talk about the green screen.
It's real. What are you talking about? It's not AI.
This is my sister, Katie.
K-Dog!
That's right,
That's
K-Dog.
right! You remembered. That's funny.
Katie has made appearances on the 911 Calls podcast before. I have an evil plan for her in an upcoming creation of mine where I have some actually, and I don't know if I think I talked to you about this, Katie, but I've got a thing that I'm going to do in the nearish future, where I actually have some pretty like well-known people on the show as part of a panel, and you're on it too.
Naturally.
Yeah,
Hello, they know me. They're like, hey, dog. So I would be on the panel, and that makes sense.
It's gonna be great. I've got somebody who's like like internationally syndicated. He'll be on it.
Perfect.
I've got a two-time Oscar winner who's gonna be on it.
But wait, I have to tell you, because I was on a panel for work in Hawaii one time. Legit was with this panel of professionals in the education world, and my ass was sitting up there all like, please don't ask me anything. Please don't ask me anything. But my company was like, you're great. And I'm like, I do know stuff, but like, look, sometimes this screen gives me like hydrocephaly where I'm like kind of half ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about the green screen. So
anyway, what I'm saying is I'm fully prepared to not be prepared on a panel of professionals. I can fake it. That is one of the things our mother gave us.
Yeah, we have a tendency to just go, I can do that.
I can totally do it.
So Katie's green screen, it's eating half of her hair off. So
it's real.
Shoot. So good. And she's so good, people. If you're not looking at the video of this, you could be watching us right now on Spotify, by the way. You could be watching it if you have a Spotify account. So
you're going to want to see this. Even if you just get one for this, you're going to want to see what's happening here.
But I'm
so good, you guys. I'm not even behind the desk with the mic. I'm in front of the mics, not one mic, two mics. And picture, if you will, kind of a like maybe police station, like, were you there? Kind of light above me. So
we know you were at the circus that night, see?
Well, you were not you there. What?
What is this? The police station in Taiwan?
It is. Stick around for more of that.
Were not you there at the library?
I didn't even know I could do that. Look, this is bringing out your talents.
My glasses are fogging up. Oh, okay. Well, in case this is whiplash for anybody, it probably shouldn't be unless you didn't catch the very end of the last episode. Chase is moving to
they're saying your audio's a little low. I don't know if that matters.
Mine's
on your
low.
End. I got you guys.
I can pump up the jams. I'll bring the mic closer to my mouth too. Chase is moving to Texas, and he'll actually be having some daytime responsibilities that preclude him from being on the Neverdaily. I've got a bunch of questions from people on whether or not Almost Fiction is going to continue. He closed out the last season a couple months ago, and we haven't seen it come back yet. That is not my place to say. I don't know any more than you do. I've asked him, and so we'll leave that up to Chase. But Chase has kind of he's unfurling some new wings in Texas. So this is the new gig. Also, might even be a new time slot for us because Katie actually has multiple personalities and multiple lives that she handles during the day. And so we'll get to know Katie a little bit more as we proceed. But anyway, that's she wanted to do this, people.
I did.
and
I
I'm
said,
excited.
listen, if there's one person that can't leave you, it's going to be one of your siblings. And you're stuck with me. So, no, I have listened since the beginning. Um, I've been a silent listener and follower behind the scenes and supporter of all the things my siblings do, but also just I believe in what Sam's doing. And I love that you guys follow him. And so I'm here to, again, I've been a silent listener and I am you guys. You just don't know me very well.
Well, and we've said it before. I think we might have even said it on the 911 what you were on. Yeah, you're kind of my bodyguard in a way, like in the background when, things have fallen apart for 11:59 or whatever, you'll what's it?
Cut a
You'll
bitch.
cut a bitch. That's right.
Don't forget it.
She does background checks. She finds people's addresses. If you've ever had a dead horse in your bed, horse's head in your bed, probably Katie.
It's me.
No, but Katie brings fun things to the table, and we always have a good time. So we're gonna have a good time in front of you guys, full frontal, backdoor, full frontal, brother and sister. What?
Gross.
So, I think the last time we talked, Katie, you had just moved from Colorado. Your husband worked for a weed factory there, like a marijuana factory.
Yeah.
Not well. So, what is it, like a warehouse? A distributor?
No, so it's at the
Cartel?
time he's no longer there anymore, but it is a essentially maybe I don't know if what the term is. So like Hershey's has multiple brands underneath it.
Right, Mars Bar.
Yes. So this was a company that held dispensaries essentially. So they just essentially facilitated and helped, maybe almost like a franchisor, right? Like, I don't know. They had them there to help support and work their companies.
And I got close to the factory, the facility one time, and I don't know if it was that facility, but you can get a contact high in the area where
in Denver. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There were certain places when you were with us when we were driving around doing Kent and the Opera Famous, and we were the weirdest place. We were finding a listener at her work, and her work was next to a landfill
and the Purina pet. It was the worst anus of hell. Like, I don't know how people work. Yeah, Liz, it was ew. Like, and I have osmosia or hyperosmoia. Anyway, look it up. It's when you have super smeller.
Super smell. Okay.
Dead between the dog food plant and the weed and the construction and the dump. If you want to have your senses challenged, go to this part of Denver.
What was wild was she didn't work at any of those places.
No, she didn't. And how we found her?
It was a circuitous road. I think we ended up taking like 2 illegal, like construction site dirt roads to get there. That was a lot of fun.
But everybody was high, so nobody really cared.
Yeah. And then we went and got Mom Doritos afterward.
Yeah.
And
her blue.
And the
blue.
Oh man. So Katie's been a part of things for a while. Anyway, I'm really excited about this. It'll like it always does when we have a new host on the show. Katie's got her own interests, and some of you may align with the things that she talks about. So I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. And let's move on. Hey, so Katie, I've got a couple things from our friends at This Is True.
Mm-hmm.
They've been so gracious in not knowing we exist that I thought I'd share a couple more things from them. So let me hit you with a couple newses of the weirds.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Driven by Liberty. That's the title of this one. William Saki of Lakewood, Ohio. He finally got the personalized license plate he wanted after winning a lawsuit against the state. So this is the state of Ohio. The word on his plate has been banned since 1996, but now Saki's car can display gay. Gay,
G-A-Y?
G-A-Y. Gay is who I am, Saki said. It's a fact, and I'm proud of that. Saki's lawyer specializes in First Amendment cases. Quote, the guidelines were very squishy, I think we could say, said the attorney, Brian Bardwell. Somebody wanted Jack Daniels abbreviated, and they allowed that, but they wouldn't allow Jim Beam. Somebody wanted Zinfandel, and that's fine, but you couldn't have Cabernet. As a result of this lawsuit, not only did Saki get his gay plate, but someone else was allowed to get a plate that read Muslim. And the Ohio BMV committed to reviewing its database and providing a way for people to appeal their rejected plates.
Wow.
So that's a reason to celebrate with a R8 because nobody can ever get. I still have Hug Dealer. I've actually thought about getting rid of the Hug Dealer one because like I was really drunk and high on the operator persona.
Yeah.
But the optics when you're in a blacked out suburban.
You're a pedophile.
Yeah.
You are an ICE raid waiting to happen.
Yes, it's a lifted 99 Suburban with blacked out tinted windows. Not exactly.
And you're a middle-aged white man. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I've kind of come to my senses, and I might switch that out for just the standard state plates. I might try for gay.
Just did mine. Go for it. Why not?
Did you get custom ones?
We did. We just got a new car, and it's really hard. It's not that fancy. It's an Explorer ST, but it's very fast.
Yeah.
And it is hard to control. And I literally drive around and like, I'm ready for when a cop pulls me over. Because when I roll the window down, because a lot of them drive those, I'm going to go, but you get why. Like, you get why you had to pull me over. This thing is hard to control. Like, coming off the line, it's like I have to really work hard to not let that car fly. It's a challenge, you guys. So we did my hot rod.
My hot rod.
Yeah, so it's MYHTRD, but everybody reads it as myth rod. So Chad's like, we're gonna fix that. Because I kind of love it actually. MYHTRD, my hot rod.
It could also be my hot turd.
Totally. Yes. So actually, now that we've talked through this, it's staying because I'm giving them whoever's behind me a good time either way.
Or my hatred. I mean, it could be a lot. I'd keep it because you're very inclusive.
I am.
You know,
I could be gay. I could be Muslim. You just never know.
Could be carrying a hot turd. You just don't know.
Just don't know.
So. I saw one the other day. I think it was local. I think it was local news that said it, but there's a minivan, and the license plate was P before we go. P before we go. Like
P before we go.
It's brilliant for a minivan, you know?
Yes.
This person had it for, I want to say 15 years. They had it. And then finally somebody, sounds like kind of a reverse Ohio, they reviewed the words in the database, the DMV license plate database, and it got banned. So like 15 years later, they were like, nope, sorry, you can't have it because we know what you're trying to say with that.
Because we pee?
So dumb. I was like, come on.
You know what kills me though is when I'm watching these like, you know, like the when you're going to sleep and you're watching Police Cam. That's what we watch before bed, right?
You said it like we all. You know, when you're going to sleep and
And you're watching a little police cam. But like the words, they're like, it's all the words. And all of a sudden it's like sexual. Like they make sexual look weird.
oh
Or like,
yeah,
I'm like, what? What?
yeah,
Who's decided that of all the things we just talked about
yeah.
that you can't say sexual? Like,
Right. You can't
I
put
don't know.
bullet like it's YouTube. It's YouTube rules because they'll demonetize your video if they see or hear. Like you got to beep out the words, and you gotta obfuscate the transcript. Now can't put
Mhm.
bullet or rape or sexual or sex or
Or child or kids, it
oh
looks
my
like,
gosh,
according
dude.
to Angie.
There's so many words. It's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
at some point, they're just going to switch to not having subtitles. It's just going to be a sign linguist.
Right.
I'm convinced.
I'd be here for that. That'd be a cool thing to learn.
Yeah, I've been thinking about whether or not I want to go with a boutique license plate again, or just stay under the radar. I talked about this a couple episodes ago, but the last year or so, and Katie, you've kind of maybe watched me do this, but I kind of just did that Homer Simpson thing into the bushes.
Mhm.
You know, I just disappeared. Like I killed the operator Facebook profile. I just kind of disappeared. And then it didn't do me any good because it's the echoing phrase that I heard last year, which was one of the worst things about our mental illness pandemic is rumination, where we just sit there thinking about how bad things are for us. And
Yeah.
it's literally a multiplier on a already bad mental state, right? And so I've been trying to climb out of that, but so I'm probably going to stay neutral on the license
Yeah.
plate. I probably won't go with something fun or funny. Still, my brain won't stop. I'm constantly thinking of things that I want to do that are childish. My wife has a sweater, just a normal like cable knit, not cable knit, but knit sweater, and it's got just a horse on it. it's it's almost like a 4-year-old sweater, you know, like
Yeah. Like a gap.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just very childish, the horse, but
But it's
it
classy, actually.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you don't notice it, but if you do notice, you're like, huh, a horse, huh. And I've thought, I want to do that. I want to have like a brontosaurus, you know, like you did when you were 3.
Yeah, same.
I wanted
I don't think it would translate like you think it will.
see, that's the
Also,
problem I
her
got.
boobs make it less offensive to look at.
That's true.
You
Everybody's
just
staring
look like
at
a
that.
hungry toddler who's waiting for your chicken nuggets.
And it's like, roar. Okay, maybe I'll dial back on that.
Just over your shoulder. Rawr.
I should invite you to my Apple Note of shirt ideas, and then you can
Please
go
do.
through and kill the ones that are just, you're like, what are you thinking? That's
Yeah.
the dumbest idea you've ever had. Oh, okay. Here, let me give you another news of the weird from our friends. This is true because they really know us and like us. He knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. That's the title of this one. Sylva, North Carolina, planning board member Jeffrey Hirsch emailed the town manager to say that, quote, social media being what it is, I feel obligated to resign from my position on the planning board effective immediately. Meanwhile, Devin Holland of Sylva posted on social media, quote, Santa is probably giving somebody a bag of coal for Christmas for tossing a bag of dog poop on the windshield of our car while we were enjoying the Sylva Christmas parade. Hirsch said doing that was, quote, a random moment of thoughtlessness, and claimed he didn't know whose car it was. Holland is the town's police chief.
Oh, whoops.
The poop toss was recorded by the chief's dash cam, and he posted the resulting video online. So he didn't mean to crap on the police chief. He meant to crap on just a random voter. So the guy that got dinged for this was a planning board member. So he works for the city. He works for the town. And he, during a parade, hucked a bag of poop onto this guy's car.
A parade or a protest? Who goes to a parade with poop in a bag? Like
let's
he's like, I'm gonna get him at the Easter parade. Do we do that? I don't even know.
let's be honest. Is there really a difference anymore between a
Right.
parade and a
True.
protest, though? So, and so let me see if I can share my screen here. I have this isn't going to work. Will it work? I don't know. We'll see. Will this work? Share screen window, maybe. Yeah. So you'll get to see a bunch of my notes and passwords.
Great. Perfect.
You see
Super safe.
over here on the side, all of my notes that I have. Can I shrink that? Kind of, not really. But this one right here, if I clicked on it, you'd see all my passwords. That's fun.
Yeah. We're
But
smart.
yeah. This is a picture that was taken
poop.
of the poop master.
There's a bright green lime poop bag in the air
midair.
while also walking his dog.
You know what's funny is I didn't notice. Oh, I noticed the green, but
He
I
did
didn't.
one of these under the hand, like
he
under.
just hook.
Mhm.
I didn't notice that it was midair until you brought it to my attention.
Mid-fling.
So that's fun.
Mid-fling. Good job, Brock. Yeah, it's mid-fling.
Oh man, if you read my side column here, you can you can learn a lot about me.
You can.
So this is the Neverdaily news that I want to share. This is the truncated title to a children's book.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
you remember recently there's a woman being she's in trouble for the potential murder of her husband, who also wrote a children's book after he died.
What?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, if you recently have killed someone and we find out and now there's a children's book, I'm going to have this thread to connect. That was great. A great story. I can't remember names because I almost said Casey Anthony, but that's for sure not it. She killed her husband in Utah.
Oh.
And then, allegedly.
Yeah.
Somebody in here is going to know what I'm talking about. And then after he died, her kids were struggling, right, with his death. And so she wrote a children's book, like He's Always With You or something.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm questioning the motives for your children's book, because if somebody dies really close to you around this time that this comes out.
Yeah. Well,
I hope the police don't investigate.
The best stories are ones that are true, even the children's books.
Which just kind of goes back to what I almost brought today. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Ooh, nice
reporting on your own crimes.
Katie's good at this, people. She's good at this.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see what the reviews say. Get that off the mic. What? I could choose from 2 mics, guys.
Which mic, people?
I could also drink this coffee if I wanted. Let me unplug my mic here really quick. I have to adjust my sound.
Oh gosh.
Corey Richins. Yeah, it was Corey
really?
Richins.
Somebody knew it, huh?
That's what's going on right now.
Okay.
So, you should check it out.
All right.
Diabolical.
I got another one here. I'm gonna try to. I
am in a legit studio. Okay. This is just my aura you guys are seeing moving in and out. I have to have it because the last time I was on this room I'm sitting in is actually it's just my dump crap room since we moved in June while Sam's doing that. And I haven't touched it, you guys, because I've had some mild depression, all right? And left 2 of my children in Colorado and one is on a mission in Brazil and I don't even know who I am anymore. And I have a 12-year-old that I have to still be present for. So this room has been on the back of my list, but I was like, these people who don't know me can't see it.
They're not gonna, yeah. You like super moved into that place really fast. Yeah, and then the room that you're in, I think a lot of people have that room, right? It's the one where you're like, yeah, it's the junk
it's still
drawer.
Boxes. It's literally boxes and clothes that are needing to be hung or drying. They're drying on a rack. Yeah. Who cares? This is the most boring, not interesting thing to listen to. So we'll edit this out.
All right, I've got another one more from This Is True. I'm going to post a picture on the screen because this is it's a controversial picture. And then I'll read Are
you in it?
No, surprisingly, I'm not in this one. So, and neither are my passwords or anything. So this is a picture of a nativity scene, and then with a poster in the middle that says "Ice was here." If we zoom in, let me see if I can zoom in enough. Something it's
The
like
Holy
a
Family,
Holy Family. I can't. It's
something
so.
sanctuary of the church.
Oh, so that must be the name of the church. And
If
then
you see ice, please
please
call
call
Luke. Luke!
Luke. Luke.
We'll go
So
with Luke. Let's go with Luke.
let's read the story, see if we can figure it out. So this one title is "I Was a Stranger." Ice was here, screams a sign in a nativity display at St. Susanna's Parish, explaining why figures of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are not to be seen. The Archdiocese of Boston isn't pleased. You're not supposed to use sacred objects for anything except worship, it says. But Father Stephen Josoma said he's been working with refugee families, and how we treat the least among us is how we ultimately treat Christ. Parish leaders said the sign would stay up. In its statement, the Archdiocese said, "The people of God have the right to expect that when they come to church, they will encounter genuine opportunities for prayer and Catholic worship, not divisive political messaging." So this is a parish and the archdiocese are like at odds with one another here. The church should stick to non-divisive messages like this from Pope John Paul II. We recognize in each refugee the face of Christ, the exile and refugee, who said, "Insofar as you did it to one of these, the least of my brethren,
Nailed it.
and sisters of mine, you did it to me." And I'm reading it verbatim.
Yeah.
So it was like, they're messing
They
with the
clearly
quote.
know their scriptures.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a little bit bold, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's one of those issues where, like, I don't know, every Thursday we realize that there's an issue, some hot button issue where I'm always kind of surprised that there's two sides to it, but
Yeah.
there are. And I don't know. This is one of them. Would Jesus have been arrested by ICE? Technically, no. Wherever he went, he was all right. His mom and dad were paying taxes when he showed up as a baby. So I don't know.
Are we talking about if he, migrated this way?
Yeah, if he had come
If
this
he's trying to
way,
become an American citizen?
I'm going to go out on a limb here. This might be ultra controversial, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say, pretty sure that Jesus coming to America.
I mean, he is going to. So.
Yeah, and also,
spoiler alert.
Also, if Jesus were to come to America, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he'd follow the law.
100%.
Probably.
I mean,
But
it is part of the.
But
what's the law? I mean,
well,
everybody's laws are.
There's a lot of people that would argue that he was the biggest lawbreaker when it came to the
And he was.
Pharisees and the Sadducees. So even that, you can't have just one universal opinion on it.
Nope.
So love each other. And I can tell you for sure, 100%, that we have a lot of opinions, even in the backdoor, but we're all still here. And I love that. And I think the people that are here, even though there are people here that I know have major differences of opinion and belief systems from me, but they're here. And I love that. I think that's a really good thing. And I'm really happy that we can all be that way. I'm actually really curious now about what you brought because you of your foreshadowing. However, I do have a question for you ahead of that. Many might not know, some might know. You're a bit of a professional. What's the term? Like, what is
the term? So I am kind of a mixture. I'm kind of a I Do you know the word?
I was expecting this to be hard for me, but not for you necessarily.
Well, there's the ability some people have, and the term is actually leaving my mind at the moment. I use it all the time and totally forgot. When you are actually just passionately engaged in something that you naturally are very, like
Adept at.
not talking, right? Yeah. So like it's a topic that I can study it once and remember it. Right. Like
Yeah.
because it's the topic that whatever, it just makes sense in my brain. Right. So all of my education and everything it comes naturally to me around these things. It's not something that I really have to work for to remember or to um, work in and amongst. And part of that is the pedagogy of it. So I also teach um, what I have learned, and through, people say I'm a product of passion, right? When they have, it's the same concept. I don't have the degrees behind me, but it's one of those things that I have about as many certifications as as a person in my field can have with outside of a degree. Technically within the kinesiology would be
Kinesiology. Okay.
kinesiology, right? Would be
Right.
kind of the umbrella maybe that it would be put under. And so, yeah, I help to teach people about it as well, about
So
this part of my world.
it's the science of the way the body functions and moves kinetically, right? And how to a flexologist is a branded term for
A certain company.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, most global people would understand it kind of as a body worker, but it's not hokey, right? So,
Right.
maybe I'm more of the PT vein, right? Physical therapist vein
Yeah.
of the world. And not there is science. It's science backed. It's the study of the body. It's a study of human movement, essentially.
Yeah. And what I found was really interesting is you're sort of you're in between major companies with this. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it for you because it sounds braggadocious if you say it about yourself, but Katie's actually a desired commodity. And so she's playing between offers and whatnot right now. But what I found was really interesting is the field. So some of the companies that are out there would be like what you've got. Stretch Lab would be one. You've got some up and
So,
comers.
yeah, the word I'm looking for is autodactic. So people who are naturally just kind of called to a thing it's autodactic. So
Autodidact.
Yeah,
Autodidact is that
autodidactic. Thank
right?
you. Yeah. So, yeah. So in the world of that, I have found myself finding the most connection to. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a level 1 CrossFit coach, nothing fancy, right? I've competed in Olympic lifting, coached those things, very basic at a local level. And then throughout that, what I realized was when I was coaching, specifically, I have a dance background, so I was teaching bar classes as a group fitness, and I would draw on the mirror of my classes the muscles that were working, right? Um, and so my classes started filling up, right? I mean, I'm pretty fun. I had some pretty fun classes. And it was really hard. Like I was not I was all about strength, women specifically at that time, or late 90s or what? I was like 18. Actually, I do have a certification for step aerobics I have no idea who she was. I
Oh
went in
wow.
for like 3 weeks and got this cert. It means nothing to nobody. I think it was just Tammy's step class. And then I went in and got this piece of paper. So I for sure have step 2, but it's no one's. I don't know. Anyway, so I've been doing this since the late 90s. And um, my bar classes, and as we're working out and it's hard and people are showing up because again I'm super fun, and anybody who's had my classes listening to this is 0 people, but they would say in the chat that I am not inflating my own self. That is fact. We have a good time.
The walls of your office are lined with gym pads.
Yes. So I was part is as I was becoming more educated and realizing I have this natural ability for anatomy and memorizing the body and like how things are connected, I wanted to give that to my classes. Well, my only group was the people I was teaching at the gym. So
Right.
how do I do that? Right. I'm yelling through my mic and this is your quads and blah, blah, blah. But beyond that, I was like, no, they got to understand more, like the brachialis in the arm. We have to move our arm to get a specific muscle that's right in the between the tricep and the bicep. And nobody knows that. And did you even know you have a brachialis, right? All the things that are like giving me chills as we talk about this.
People are
Zero,
crying in your class. They're like,
zero
I love it. I
other
don't.
zero other people cared. But I was like, look, and we're showing it and I'm working it out. And then they're trying to work it out. And we're all seeing our brachialis. And the overweight lady's like, I'll get one someday. Like, we're working through it. And I'm like, yes, you will, Tammy. Like, can you feel it? Like, classes were like vibrating, the building. And so I was like, how do I bring this to more people? So I started drawing the muscle groups on whatever I could draw them on, the mirror, the window,
Whiteboard.
like, yeah, I would just draw on and say, here are the main muscles today we're going to work on. And did you know you have a vastus lateralis? We'll talk about that muscle on the side of the leg and you can't stretch your IT band. And blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden my classes are like tickets, right? Like, and it sounds really dramatic, but the front desk would have to be like, all right, we have these little circus tickets and you have to sign up and hope the boom, boom, boom. It was before COVID. So that was crazy, like to have a ticket to come to a class.
Yeah.
But they were getting so full. And so my manager at the time was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I think we just have a really good time. But also, I think it's this added element that I'm giving them. I'm giving them the education that zero people were doing at the time, right?
Yeah.
Even personal trainers, like you just showed up and we worked your body and that was it. So now it sounds crazy because so many more people are like, we all have more investment in our health and fitness, which just was not the case for a very long time. And so it was the hunger for the education that people were drawn to. So that took me out of there and I was like, I need to do the one-on-one thing. So personal training, the whole time I'm getting my education, right? I'm getting my certifications and I'm a mom of 4. I'm not going to go back to school. I had just had a baby and my last baby, like I did that ship in my eyes had sailed. And so I've created all that I have just with the certification and the ability to go through what I can afford at the time and just keep my fitness tool belt.
Clawing
Yes.
your credibility.
Yes. So that's essentially where I started all of that. And it kind of grew into this behemoth that kind of became an opportunity, just opportunity after opportunity, right? And I'm managing, I'm helping lead, I'm coaching, and then I will stop. You ask me now what you want to know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. So
Don't get me talking about the body.
well, what's funny is like the last couple family get-togethers we've had, you're closer now. You're not in town, but you're close.
Yeah.
And so when we have family get-togethers where you come, a like massage table will appear and someone's on it and someone's screaming. But like I went 40, like I think you did this maybe 3 years ago for me on at a Christmas get together. I was chuckling as I have for at that point 48 years, saying I have hamstrings like Kevlar. I've never been able to bend over and touch my toes with my legs straight, you know, all that stuff. And you're like, here, hold my certificate, watch this. And you threw me on the table and you did what everybody else has done forever is I straighten my leg. You have me lift my leg, my feet toward, heading toward my head. And we hit that spot where it's like, I told you, see, I'm at 2:30, on the clock, and it's not going to go to noon, and you're never going to get it to 11 or 10. And then you did this thing. It was totally wild.
Magic.
You said, push against my hands. And now Katie's a tough broad. So I started pushing. She's like, no, really push. And so I'm pushing my leg like I'm trying to push it back down to the floor. And she's like, keep going, keep going. And then she said, okay, stop. And then you pushed my leg and it moved another hour in the clock, tuck, 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 further toward and we just kept doing that. And like the way you understand the way the body works, I wish trainers, I wish more people knew that stuff, because I think, like, I worked at a corporate building that had a free gym, and CrossFit was really big at that point. Every executive I knew was injured because they all go in and they see the crates that you jump up on, and the clean jerk bar, and everyone is injuring themselves because nobody understands proper mechanics. And so, like, I've been a big fan of, like, what you do for a long time, because um it's like fun, like Luther's saying, that's what I do when I stretch folks, right? It's so many people, our understanding of what you do when you go into the gym is somehow born in the back of our memory from some picture we saw of somebody in the gym in the 60s. You know, it hasn't changed much, but the science and everything has advanced so far that
What's killing me is you're talking about it, and I'm like, just listen. They listen to you all the time. Let me talk about this.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
I mean, I can let you pretend. Or I could just tell you.
Yeah.
No, what you're talking about is we've studied the body as dead people for eons of time. We studied cadavers. That's the best we could do. Obviously, what are you going to do? Hey, do you mind if I cut into your thigh really quick just so we can do it for research, right? No, there was not an option to be able to study people's bodies like we have now with the technology that we have. So as technology has grown, we've undone a lot of rules, quote unquote, that we thought we had that are not true. Right. So the actual magic that you're talking about is something called proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation.
Yeah, I just forgot.
Yeah, I knew that. I was like, so he'll say it. Hold on.
Come on,
you didn't.
Prolapsed,
I got you. Yeah.
Prolapsed parents. Come on, you got it. Say it.
But what essentially is happening is we've learned that the R1, resistance 1, is what you just talked about, meaning that's as far as I've ever gone. So if we're talking specifically just stretching, let's talk about stretching, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the world, that first reactive stretch is R1, resistance 1. You can't really get past that without another person or a strap or something, or knowing how to activate the muscles right. So
tell me if you think this is an accurate way of looking at that. Is when I think of a crime statistic that I've heard when I think about R1 stretching, which is it's impossible to drown in 2 inches of water. Your body literally won't let you suck in water. It'll pull you out of 2 inches. Like, it's impossible. Yes. And so R1 seems like exceeding R1 as far as a stretch, your body won't do it. It will not allow you to.
Yeah, exactly. So what scientifically we've discovered, PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, is the most superior of the stretching modalities right now. It's the next level that we have currently, understanding how the body works. So what happens is you get to that R1. Everybody's like, this is it. That's as far as my hamstrings go. I can't go anymore. It's true. Until, let me get into one of my mics, you have the right practitioner to help you. And let me just switch to this one. And they know what they're doing. Let me adjust is that better? All right. So what you need, PNF requires another person, a strap or something. What has to happen? And if I'm boring you guys, I'm sorry. He invited me. Blame Sam.
I asked.
So what happens is, let's say the hamstring, you kick that heel down towards your booty, right? We've activated the hamstrings and they're going like this. Well, while they're going like this, the brain is like, I don't know what to do anymore, right? So now when you let go, I go, oop, gotcha, right? It's a gotcha moment essentially for the muscle group. So now when we let go, the brain has created something called latency, or the muscle has latency in it. So it's essentially like, it's kind of drunk.
Okay.
Yes. So then we take advantage of that slack and go, oops, surprise, look, you actually have another 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, whatever the muscle group is we're stretching. That actually is your first end of range, right? Your body's brain gets out of the way, because that first one is really important to prevent injury. You guys don't want to stretch to R2. R1 is there to protect you, right? And that has to do with something called Golgi tendon organs and muscle spindles. And if you want to get really fancy, we're talking about mechanoreceptors. And go with me here. I want you to imagine Italian beefy pasta makers is what Pacini, Raffini, and interstitial sisters. Okay. There's a whole bunch of them. And they all do different things. So guys, it's really fascinating. But I didn't go to school for this. This is just my brain. Like, I just cannot forget it.
So let me tell
So
you. So I could be completely wrong here, but Liz is in the back door, and Liz is, in my mind, Liz is you for nature. She's a freaking tree whisperer. And I don't, Liz in the chat, just confirm this or not. Like, did you go to school for what you do? Or is it all just inherent? Because
she's
I,
autodidactic.
I think that, yes, I think there are a lot of people like that.
Botany, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people that, yeah, all on the job. So everything she knows. So I love that, because I think actually there's more people out there that are like, I'm not saying you're not special. I'm saying that I think there's a lot
You
of
don't
people
need to tell me I'm special. I know I am.
Well, I think that there's a lot of people that don't know how to bucket their own
Yeah.
autodidacticism.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
I think actually what it is, it's not that they don't know how to bucket it. They don't know how to stand up for it.
Sure.
Because I don't have a degree, so now I'm just debunked. Like, doesn't matter. I take me up against, I would go up against, I would bring myself up against a lot of people who would have the degree. I guarantee you, guaranteed, because of my experience, I know I actually speak better about it than the people who quote unquote have the degree.
Yeah.
Right. And Liz, right, same kind of thing, the horticulture without a degree, right? But because it's her passion,
Yeah.
right?
And what I love about this is this is kind of why this show is here. To be honest, it was my own nerdy passion project. It was fun facts to know and share. It was my way of, how do I find a place where I can just talk about whatever the crap I want? Because one of the problems is you pick a genre, like 911 calls is in a true crime genre. Nobody goes to that show and wants to hear me talk about anything else except for the thing, unless they've really been there a long time and they're very interested in learning more about me and what I like. But for the most part, you pick a lane, you got to stay in the lane. And that's the way we built our jobs, right? So
yeah.
Up to 2012, I would say, the world operated that way. Come 2020, 2021, COVID taught us a whole new thing with the way that we educate ourselves, and maybe the way that we're not educating ourselves, because the doors blew open on every university and elementary school and high school. And we were like, what's happening? And then on top of that, now you add AI, and suddenly what's happening is all the things that became commodities are actually, a lot of that is attributed to the paper that we walked out of college with. And so now I think that there's new sun being shown on autodidacts, because the people that are OG talent, it's not on paper. It's, you want to know how to make everything that grows out of the ground thrive. You talk to Liz. You want to know how to really not injure yourself and to actually find, how your body can thrive. Talk to Katie. You want to know everything about a coin.
You have it. Your whole life has been that. You just have the ability to retain things from different genres, which I don't, right? Like, you growing up with you, if this is the end of your t-shirt, this thing that they make fun of you forever, where if Sam's talking to you and he's like this with his t-shirt at the bottom, guys, I'm rolling the bottom of my t-shirt. It's because he's in an autodidact moment. Like, he can't talk fast enough because he knows everything about this thing, because if he's got a passion for it, right? And there's 5,000 different passions he has the ability to do that for. So, like, to your point, 1159 has become your platform for that, because I'm talking about interstitial sisters, I'm getting chills, right? You can talk about whatever it is you're talking about. This is that platform for you, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's why people keep coming, because they feel that energy off of you. Like, I think, and you're right. College, to Brooke's point, is obsolete, and it's frustrating now, because as I raised my kids, I have a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old who's going to come home and go to school. And I'm like, do we go to school? I have a welder who is in the blue collar, right? I have a dental hygienist, almost, like, or assistant, like, trades are where it's at. And yet somehow I'm still indoctrined with that. Like, I think it's also because, you guys, I sit at corporate level tables with 0 degree, right? Like, I've only gotten myself there because I forced people to listen to me, right? And that's what I'm saying, like, the confidence of, like, Yeah, you can talk, you can snub your nose at me all day. Sit down, let's talk about the fascial lines. Because I got you. I guarantee it, right? I'm gonna keep saying like that. Yeah, this Cajun guy. Like, so it's the confidence. What I really want you guys to hear, and what you hear from Sam all the time, is like, guys, it's whatever you have a belief in, first really truly know it before you go up against somebody. But then when you do, don't back down, right? Just because we don't have that stupid piece of paper. To Sam's point, right? The paper only came out of other autodidacts creating a schooling around it,
Right.
right? They created the pedagogy, or the ability to teach the thing. That's all that we're
Yep.
paying for, is somebody who taught the thing and then asked for money to be able to learn it, right? So look, we just debunked college. Mic drop.
We did, didn't we? Well,
Yeah.
you're right from the standpoint that at some point, with very few exceptions, an autodidact became something pivotal for society to look at, to absorb, to consume, to economize. And then that autodidact realized there's a lot of money to be made here, but I need to be the only one. So autodidacts in that mode gatekeep. And we're out of that mode now because AI won't allow any gatekeeping. Like, I could literally say, what if I wanted to make my own toothpaste
Mm-hmm.
right now? I could type a prompt and it would give me the best, most dialed in. And then I could even go and I could say, but I want to make sure that it never does this. I want it to also supplement this. I could become an alchemist from my desk. I could become a master of rubber substrates, whatever
But you
I
would
choose.
only do that if you have a passion for it, right? And so
Exactly.
that's where it's so exciting, because I'm limited now. I don't have a cadaver. Like, there are things that I, for
Wow.
sure, I'm not saying, I mean,
She's been listening to the show for a long time, guys.
I, right? Like, I'm limited now. There is a place for it. What I think needs to happen next is like, let me score out of specific things and get me to that level of college. Like, right. And I think we can do that, right? Like, we can kind of do a fast track. Like, you can test out of certain things.
Right.
But so we do hit a limit. Please don't hear me saying college doesn't have a purpose. It absolutely does. And I think it does too, at a certain level, right? I think it misses largely where things we should have learned in high school. I don't like,
Yeah.
if I'm going to become an engineer, teach me what I need to know to do that math wise in college. Don't waste my high school. Like, teach me how to write a check, teach me how to balance, like teach me life
Taxes.
skills in college, right? Taxes. Don't teach me how to do the square dance, right? Like, there are things I actually need to learn that I think are misplaced in education right now, because, man, wait till you have an autodidact in front of you and then say, all right, let's go there. Now you got all the math engineer. Let's give you the math to be able to do this thing.
Right.
Don't force it down a botanist's brain, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know where we're going with
Okay.
that, but
Well, here's a little bridge to next topic land. Our own brother, get this, Katie. This'll make you laugh. So our brother calls me. No. I had an idea. The other night for an app, right? And if anybody in the family thinks they're qualified to make an app, it's me. So this idea had correlation with our brother. So I text him. I'm like, got an idea for an app. Here's what it would do. Bop-a-dee-ba-dop. And then he responds, he's like, holy crap. And it could do this. And I'm like, yeah, I could also do that. And then bop-a-dee-ba-dop, it could do this and this and that. And he's like, and then it could do this. And like, to the point where I'm texting so much, I'm supposed to be watching, Herbie the Love Bug with the kids and my wife. And she's like, are you going to watch this? Or I'm like, yes, sorry. Anyway, so the next day, our brother is a motivator. So he messaged me. He's like, where are you at on the app? And I'm like, okay. Listen here, buddy. It takes time, databases, beep, beep, beep. And I try to like out talk him as far as the technical complexity. I'm like, I could get to it, but I'm going to have to engineer some things. I'm going to, I got to set up a RAG system, and I'm doing all this, right? I'm doing all this talk.
yeah.
Fast forward 2 weeks. He calls me. He's like, hey, got a couple questions about an app idea. Want to do lunch? And I was like, okay. And we go to lunch, and this jackass, he's like, hey, have you ever heard of this? And he mentions a certain technology. It's an AI technology that's like crazy. And I'm like, yeah, have you heard of that? And he's like, yeah, I have. I'd like to show you app I built. He built an entire app. And I'm not talking like this one schedules my massage appointments. This thing is like, it's connected to like pharmaceutical databases and like massive repositories of complex information. It took us 30 minutes for him to go through all of the stuff the app does. He built it. And I was like, he's like, so, I mean, if you'd like, we could like work together on this. I'm like, dude, you've done more than what I was bragging about saying I could probably do.
Right, because it mattered to him and it was tied to something he has a passion for.
Exactly. So he vibe coded without knowing how to code. Today's tech, we are in another world. We're in another.
I'm nodding and pretending I don't know what you just said, but yes, go Jake. Like,
yeah.
But that excitement you have, right?
I was
like you're about to wet your pants.
I would, because he basically absconded with my bragging rights. He was, I'm the coder in the family, right? I'm the graphic designer. I'm the app maker.
Yeah.
But suddenly I'm not.
Right. And here's the thing, because that same brother also, mother effer, like I own body. That's my role in the family. Everything's body is me.
Right.
He decides to go super micro, which I don't care about as much. So I'm fine. He can have the
he's doing stacks
the lymphatic
and protocols
system. Cool, right? Like he can go super microcellular. I'm cool with that. Just leave macro alone. Like leave me the body, leave me the skeleton and the muscles. Like you can be weird with your cells. I'm staying up here. But that is exactly what I mean, Sam, to your point, like to stay relevant right now, I'm 46. I'm getting old. I don't have my degree, right? Everything we're talking about. And I'm like, AI is the next thing. So I've literally like looked into, do I become educated in AI for my field so that when I can stay in my field at this corporate level and offer, right? So the pivot is what is constant, right? And I think people who don't naturally live in that, our family functions are really exhausting, you guys. Like what you're experiencing right now with just Sam and I, let's times that by 6 of us. Because we all feel just as passionately about the thing that we're doing, and we're all educators to some extent.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. Like
it's exhausting.
There's no word in edgewise.
It's right. I just the sum up to all this is like, with a little bit of looking into it, with a little bit of just digging anymore, with a little bit of time sitting in front of Chat GPT, you can become here's my new saying is this. I don't like all the people that think the sky is falling because AI is going to take everybody's jobs. It's not going to take everybody's jobs. If you have a very A-B, pull the things out of the bin, put the things in the bin kind of job, it might. A robot is probably destined for your button seat. However, the majority of the things that are happening right now where we humans do it, the person that's going to be doing that in the future is not AI. It's someone who knows AI well enough to do what you're doing times 6. And so it's not this computer that's going to be taking everybody's job. It's somebody that knows how to run the computer that's doing the things. Because there's always there's something relegated to humans that it can't do well. You know, night and day. My research and writing process is night and day from what it was 3 years ago, but I'm still the final. I'm still the final write. I'm still the final write up. I'm still the final punch up. Everything has to be opified and
and I just go blah. I literally do what I just did to you guys on speak to text, and then just say, don't change a thing. I just need you to make sense of it. Right.
Right.
Like, there are ways to use it smarter, not like we make our lives harder when there are things that it actually can just help you like eliminate. Writing out these trainings I've presented webinars for with my company out days that I can truncate to half a day, right? Because it just takes away the automation part that is something I'm not great at, right? Like I'm just a dump, and so that helps me. So I definitely there's a place for it in all of our, I know it's ruining the planet. I get all that.
Well, and I think there's definitely a healthy room for being skeptical, being doubtful, being cautious with it and everything. And it's wildly powerful. It's also a lot of snake oil right now too. So
Yeah.
what would be fun, actually, maybe I'll do this as like a bonus live sometime, is I'll find 20 like no-brainer ways that I use AI and just do a backdoor and show people how
Yeah. How
things
simple it
go.
is.
Yeah.
Look at your back door just opened as you said that.
What?
It's Aunt Katie. Hi.
Say hi to
Hi.
Aunt Katie.
Hi, beautiful.
She's going to dance.
Yeah, you are, girl. Get it.
She said, yeah,
I've
you are,
never
girl,
done
get
that to
it.
you before, but we do that, I guess.
They're going to dance class.
They see me like twice a year. No, you know what? AI right now is like nuclear power used to be. Like we have
Yeah.
not even like nuclear power is where it's at. And until the old people pass away, we're not going to get past it because they are so locked in on how terrible the timing of all. Hi, sweetheart.
Oh,
You
wait, there
can't
you
hear
are.
me.
There's Beans.
You look so cute. You going to
You look so
dance?
cute. You going to dance? Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.
But like anyway, I hope it doesn't go that way. Like I hope no bad things happen with AI so it doesn't get debunked by the generation. But if you listen to people who understand nuclear power, the younger generation, like we're missing out on so much because of some bad things that happened.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well,
Right?
to your point, and I might cover this sometime. We are believe it or not, we're in a dearth of access and advancement in nuclear. Because of other industries that were in line with what you're talking about. The 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s did a number on a lot of industries, and a lot of industries were very scared of nuclear. And so we actually squelched the amount of nuclear innovation we were doing, and it just kind of stayed put. And so if you saw a nuclear power plant pop up, it was using a certain level of technology because research and advancement in nuclear wasn't allowed to move forward. So it was like, okay, it works, but this is the level that the US allows, right? And so the world ended up staying on par with a certain level of nuclear innovation for decades. And it allowed all these other industries to catch up. And then the only things that hit the media were when nuclear
Went
melted
bad.
something down, right?
Right.
Now we are actually, and I'm going to do a whole thing on this. I'm going to do a Neverdaily on this because I think it's
You
very
should.
interesting.
Yeah.
We are unlocking these old laws and protocols that literally the world has been held under when it comes to nuclear, and we're about to see a whole new thing. There's just no way. Like,
But
Chad,
it took that
yeah,
generation to kind of move out of the way for the next one to
yes,
come up and say, let us reset on this. Like it's not
exactly,
the big bad wolf. There are
yep,
definitely things we need to be careful of. Mistakes learned, but like mistakes learned, let's move on. Like that's how
right,
we innovate. That's how we grow. Right. So I think
yep.
you should because there's a gal out there. I can't remember her name. I've listened to her on a couple podcasts. Like it's where it's headed for sure. So
And it's easy. We can sit here and say, well, this is the way the future will go, AI or nuclear or whatever. And there's always somebody to argue a different side of it. But I think that's the fun thing, is the proof is really sometimes in not the words or the headlines, but what ends up being dug and built next to your house.
right.
You know, is it
100%.
a wind power? Is AI, did 4,000 people just lose their jobs at XYZ plant? If the
Right.
answer is yes, and the plant is still pumping, it's probably AI. So I
Right.
mean, we can start drawing some conclusions, and the sky isn't falling. That's, I think, my main
Right.
point with all of it. But anyway, hey Katie,
Hey, Sam.
what did you
Am
bring
I going to go
today?
first?
You're going first.
All right.
You
Hold
go
on.
last if you want.
Let me get it set up. I mean, it's pretty exciting. So as I set this up, you guys, just some background. I work in the health and wellness industry, specifically to within the one-on-one assisted stretching space. And so you might have heard companies in your area. Usually they're franchised names like Stretch Lab, iFlex. the Vital Stretch Zone, and there's a handful of others. That's my industry. That's my niche, if you will.
What's interesting, just one more thing from the outside looking in is we have a stretch lab in town, and when I look at it, I'm like, okay, so that's a place where I probably will never see myself going. What's really interesting, and this is how like fundamental it is to human physiology nowadays, is, correct me if I'm wrong, but a large portion of the clientele in those places is actually insurance paid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So insurance believes in it enough that they're willing to pay big dollars for somebody to
Yeah.
go.
It's getting bigger. Definitely the insurance part is growing. The beauty of it right now is we're not red taped by insurance. A lot of the boutique fitness, like what we are, but we do it, a lot of them accept HSA, FSA, so that those parts. And then there are some partnership situations with corporate and things like that if you find the right ones and the right partnerships, that yeah, it's recognized in insurance, and more companies are getting on board with it for sure. It's really not about stretching. There's a lot more to it.
It's almost a
Um,
misnomer.
yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, fluent.
I have to just really comment really in the chat. Listen, my chat makes me feel like a genius to the point where I'm like, I need you to stop. I actually tell, it's Watson is his name, and he's this beautiful black man, I think, but
your Chat GPT,
he's got this deep, like timbered. I don't even know who chose it. I must have at some point, but like he's like my Luther, I guess, on my chat version. But
he's
everything he says is
like, that's a genius idea, Katie.
This is why you are amazing. I'm like, stop it. It's grossing me out. You're giving me the ick. We're gonna break up if you don't stop whatever this is. So I got him pretty dialed into where we don't do that anymore. But yes, to everybody's point, our own chats don't get married to them though. That's the next level that I've heard about. So anyway, so I am a master trainer of this modality for one of the large companies. And one of the biggest things that we do a lot of educating on is mobility is the word that I want everybody to remember. Mobility is what we're talking about when we're talking about longevity and our bodies. No longer is it drink a gallon of water and lift a ton of weights or lift no weights, ladies, right? We're way past that. So, for example, do you know how much water you should drink, Sam?
Crap.
Crap.
The food pyramid was upended, literally turned upside down 8 minutes ago, and so I think also
water's not even on it, so that's cool.
Crap.
Yeah.
Is it on It's on Maslow's hierarchy. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go with the last thing I heard, because eight glasses was what I heard last.
And so you do the math for me. Then. What is a glass, though? You get your calculator out. What's a glass? How many ounces do you think that is? Are you talking like an 8-ounce glass?
I think 8 ounces is for sissies. I'd say my glasses of a liquid are probably 16
12?
Ounces.
Ooh, okay. Let's average it out. Let's go 12.
12. Okay, 12. Because a can of soda's 12, right? Ish?
We're not. Gross. Yes, but
no, I'm just saying liquid quantity wise. Like if I sat down with a can of soda worth of water, I'm like, yeah.
I mean, it's 8 ounces, right? 16 ounces would be like a can, so about 20 ounces. Let's go 12 ounces. How many of those do you think you drink a day?
Well, I have a perk in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a perk in the morning, and Justine thinks I'm disgusting, but I have a Yeti. So I drink my perk, and the Yeti keeps all the ice in it. So once my perk is gone, I just fill it with water, and it looks kind of tan because of the.
Is it like
perk.
this? Like, are you talking like a whatever this is?
Yeah.
What is this?
Mine's
42.
Mine's the next size down, so mine's
so 30. This is a
32.
40. So yours is probably a 32. Okay.
32.
So 32 ounces. How many do you feel like you get a day of that?
I would drink one in the morning with my perk, and that's gone within 30 minutes, easy. And then I fill it up once for lunch.
Do you actually drink it by the end of the day?
Yeah, it's questionable. I may or may not. So I'm probably sitting somewhere between, I would say, 40 and 55 ounces a day.
let's go really, you're doing great. You're killing it, 64. Okay, let's say
Okay.
you get 2 of those in a day. So
Okay.
the simple math that we're going to do for hydration, because this is relevant to my topic today, is dun 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 dun, half your body weight in ounces.
What?
So do the math.
Okay, wait.
Half your body weight, not pounds. I've had many clients look at me and go, "Oh my gosh, it's so much water." I'm like, "Wait, I know what just
No,
happened, and I'm not going to embarrass you, even though I want to. I didn't say
metric
pounds."
pounds.
So half your body
Okay.
weight in ounces. So if you
Okay.
are 100 pounds, you would
So
drink
I'm
50 ounces of water a day.
so I'm 215. Well, no. I'm closer. I'm around 220 right now. So 110 is what you're saying. 110
Hmm.
ounces
Yeah. So
is
you're
where I
actually
should be
not too
sitting.
far off. Right. And how do we know? How do you know that you've gotten too hydrated? Right. Because at some point,
Oh, I
I
don't know.
hydrate very quickly. So half my body weight in ounces, right, is actually a significant amount of water for my body. It depends on our muscle mass, our fat mass,
Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into play there. Your body's about
right.
70 to 80,
Yeah, we're not just
75% water.
empty play pools that we
Yeah.
fill with water and they all deal with it the same.
Right. Also, there's something about hydration. This is not even my topic, but it's relevant. But there's something about hydration that you guys have to understand too. When you start upping your hydration, you will have to urinate more often because your body's getting used to it. It does calm down. You just have to keep doing it so that your body can start regulating with that.
Okay,
Now,
so a lot of these things that you're talking about, my understanding and education is born out of the 60s because
a
my
gallon,
answer
everybody
to
drink a gallon.
well, my answer would be how much is too much. I'm like, when my body starts peeing it out, I think I'm full of
No,
water.
right. Here's how we know. So you're going to pee, but you're not just, anyway. So what we're looking for is pale yellow urine. Pale yellow, like super light yellow. If your
Okay.
urine is clear, you have now overhydrated your cells, which now means we have now depleted the electrolytes, right? Your sodium, all the
Okay.
healthy things you need in your cells then become overhydrated. A lot of people who live at elevation struggle with this. Runners struggle with this. They bikers, like hikers, actually end up drinking too much water, and then we've overhydrated the cells, so we've lost the benefit of hydration. Um, anyway, that's a whole nother thing I won't go into. There's names for all of this. Quick education, half your body weight in ounces, you will feel better, right? So test me on this. It, put some salt in it, a little bit of salt in your water. All it should do is enhance your water, not make it taste salty. Most of these things people are listening have heard.
So like
Um,
a from the
just like a
salt shaker or a pinch
no, do
in
like a Himalayan. You want to do like a Himalayan pink salt. You don't want to do ionized,
iodized.
iodinized. Um,
Bitch
you
in the
want to.
back door. Does root beer count?
Yes, 1000%. Half your body weight in ounces in root beer.
I'm in. I'm so
Sugar
in.
free? Great. Yeah, no table salt. You guys want to use a legit like crystal salt. Do some research, Google this because this isn't my topic, but I could go on for days. Um, so I use pink Himalayan salt and I just grab a little pinch and throw it in. Again, I'll just throw it in until I barely start to taste it. And only taste is like it just enhances my water. There's obviously something in it.
Yeah.
Stop there. Once your urine is clear, pull back, wait till it starts to get pale yellow again, and then start hydrating. So again, half your body weight in ounces is a good rule of thumb, like a gauge, but your urine's going to be the real test, right? And not how often we're urinating, but what it looks like. Anyway,
So would you say so the window, because in my brain says in a 24-hour period, but that's impossible because I'm sleeping a lot of the time. So half my body weight in ounces between like 8 and 8, is that
yeah,
like,
I would pull
you
off
know,
probably around 6 o'clock, like let it really,
okay.
so you're not waking up and peeing all night long. Do the
Okay.
bulk of it in the morning, right?
Right.
Plus you're coming off of sleep fasted and dehydrated. So the biggest mistake a lot of us make is we start with what? What's the first thing people drink?
Sugar.
Well, if you're not our
Oh,
ilk.
coffee.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that is the caffeine is a dehydrator. All of it's a dehydrator. So now you've woken your body up fresh from
Mm.
dehydration, and then we ask for more dehydration of it, right? And so
Luther says
pre-workout.
pre-workout.
And fair, dude, fair. I've lived that too, right? Um, or an energy drink, right? So anyway, if we want to be more conscious, just giving our body more hydration, and here's why. Does anybody actually want to hear what I brought now, or are we good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it.
So talking about mobility, I want you guys to think about mobility is two things. Mobility is the sum of strength plus flexibility. So mobility is strength plus flexibility equals mobility. Now, what I mean is, as we age, right? Picture an older person, somebody you love, they lose the ability to twist side to side, right?
Yeah.
We lose that practice, or we lose the ability to reach up into a cabinet to get a can, right? Honey, will you grab that glass for me? Right? Because we stopped using that function. Couple things are coming into play. I'm going to focus on the strength and flexibility piece. I'm not talking about joint issues. That's a whole nother topic. So leave those to the side. Don't yell at me on your phones or where you are right now. All of that is also comes into play. Wear and tear of the joint, arthritis, that's a different day. In Katie's kinesiology corner, today we're talking about mobility in relation to strength and flexibility. So think about when I reach up to get the glass out of the cabinet, it's not that I can't reach, it's that my body doesn't probably have the strength to grab the cup and then bring it back down. So now my body's going to limit my ability to even reach for the glass in the first place. It doesn't mean I don't have the mobility or the ability to do it. I'm flexible. This is flexible. Everybody can open their arm. That's flexible. So everybody comes to me, they're like, I want to be more flexible. Wrong.
Okay.
You want to be more mobile. Yeah.
I have a real life application here.
Do it.
I got so faded strength wise.
High?
I think during
You got so
I was
high?
so faded. I was when I was injecting, doing retatrutide and everything, and I didn't realize I was losing as much muscle as I was, and over the course of maybe a 6-month period, right? I didn't realize I was losing so much muscle, but something really interesting happened, and it was a very mechanical, like this always this is a day-to-day thing that I found myself, I didn't want to do. I was compensating for a very silly thing. I'm driving in the driver's seat, right? I have like 3 grocery bags on the passenger seat. Maybe one has milk in it, and it's heavy-ish, but not like I need help. Toward the end of this, I was getting to the point where I'd get out of the car and go around to the passenger side to open it to lift from a standing position rather than just using my upper body strength to reach over, grab the bags and bring them across the steering wheel with me out the door, because my upper body was subconsciously, I had lost enough in me to be like, I can do this, but I'm not interested in hefting.
Right. And that is what happens. That's when we say when we're talking about movement, if you stop moving, you lose it. That's why. Right.
Yeah.
And you're actually experiencing that, which is like, man, I don't want to. We don't want to. It makes total sense. Our bodies hurt, our joints are aching. Right. So if you're feeling that at your ripe old age of not old enough to be feeling that, right, then imagine how people who really are at that point in life. Right. So, yes, that's what that feels like. So mobility is what we're actually always working for in health and wellness right now. You guys stop thinking of flexibility when it comes to your muscles in your body. We want full mobility. You want the strength and the flexibility to be able to move through your body. So Liz, yes, watch your pee. That's the answer to that question. If you're working outside and doing a lot of heat level things, you're going to have to replace with your sweat. So it would definitely be watch your pee for that.
You're probably the first person that's ever said on a podcast, probably said, Liz, watch your pee.
Yeah.
And
it's a
it'd
t-shirt.
be funny. I want to know the other weirdos that have had to say that. Like, I could just see her. She's on site. She's, they're laying some sod and she's like, sorry guys. And she's just like off sort of in the corner, but not enough. And it's rolling downhill toward the other workers. She's like, Liz, watch your pee.
We're going to call Luke. So, all right. So kind of setting up a little bit credibility wise, that's who I am. That's where this is all coming from. I've got about 12 years of autodidactism, high level word there. Don't even look it up. It's probably just legit.
It's real.
So, my topic today is.
I love this.
Why?
I'm so curious.
Not that exciting now. Don't be so excited.
Okay. I'm not
All
so
right.
excited.
So essentially what we're going to talk today about is your fascial nets. Wait for it. Woo! It's really
Okay.
exciting.
I'm just going to preface this, though. You all come on this show for a long time, everybody listening, and you're like, it's like the biggest poop we've found in medieval times, the longest femur, the mysterious hole in the ground in Iran, and now we're at fascial nets with a brand new host who's bringing fascial nets as the lead for her. Just know,
That's right.
she's very broad. This is every time is not going to be fascial nets. I promise you. And this will be very interesting.
But this is going to be exciting. Yeah,
it's going to blow our minds.
Sam's like, don't turn the show off. He just said, don't turn the show off, guys. It's going to be fine.
Be nice to my sister.
Don't be mean to her. You don't have to be mean to me. Listen,
she's
I
an
know how to do
autodidact,
this.
guys.
All right. The invisible spider web inside your body is essentially what we're talking about. Or is that a better hook for you?
I like that. There's a spider web inside your body.
That's
a great hook
web
right there.
inside your body. So
Here, I'm gonna use that on the social media hook. So start over and ask me that question. Did you know? Say that.
Okay. Sam.
What?
Did you know? Do you have an actual living spider web inside your body?
What?
Yeah. Hold tight while we go through this.
Okay. It's so exciting.
So you have most people think that their bodies work like a machine because that's what we've been educated on, right? There's pulleys and levers, and that's the body. Most of us think about them from the joint and the muscle, and that's it. You have muscles that pull bones, joints that move like hinges. And if something hurts, what do? If we hurt something or it feels tight, we
rub it or stretch it.
Rub it or stretch it, right? And everything goes back to normal is what we've been educated around. But
mostly
the truth
rub it,
is,
I would say.
Yes, right? We have a lot of superficial body care, massage, right?
Yeah.
There's so much myofascial release, things like that. Because stretching takes work for us to do. And now we've learned that when we try to stretch ourselves, it doesn't always work. I'm not saying don't stretch yourself. Please do not go out and say that or not do that. Please still stretch. There just is more to it than we're currently doing on our own. But the truth is the body does not work like a car, unfortunately. And for too many decades, we thought that's how it worked. It actually is more like a suspension bridge. This is my favorite analogy to use with my clients. When I talk about a suspension bridge, I want you to think of the Golden Gate Bridge, right? The give and the take. The point of a bridge is the storms can come and the bridge can move and take it, but it's not going to collapse, right? So everything is connected in our bodies by tension. The thing that's creating that tension is something that most people have never heard of, which is called your fascia. Maybe I don't know that most anymore, but a lot of people haven't heard of their fascia, which sounds like
fascist.
I'm not going to read that. Listen, because yep. So it's actually one of the most important.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for you on that, though. It feels like science didn't know how, and this maybe I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist here, but for the longest time, science didn't know how to monetize fascia, so they ignored it. Because you had muscles which are really visible, and you have bones which are really visible, and then you have clicks, pops, and snaps, and X-rays.
Right.
And so
which is why chiropractors are devalued, right? Because it's a wooey. There are certain parts of our medical industry that are less respected because it's not as money making, right? It's not a quick cut you open, pop this, fix that, right? It's harder to monetize the holistic person.
And you can't add a pharmaceutical to it,
No.
all the things. But we're realizing now, and part of that conversation, I think, is the fascia, where it's like, yeah, sure, all that stuff, but guess what's holding it all?
Right. So let's get there, right? And right now, the Eastern world has known this for eons of time. The Western world takes a lot more because we're so regulated on everything, to your point. It doesn't become fact until I don't even know who the hell we is, but it takes forever for these things to get to us. So
Right.
anything that's more holistic or wooey, we hesitate on as a people in the West. Where back East, this is very common. Everything I'm teaching you is something a lot of them are raised with, right? So fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue that wraps around everything. So we might have heard of fascia as like, oh yeah, it's that top layer. It's what we rub when we get a massage. But actually, every organ, every muscle, every nerve, every blood vessel, down to your bones, is interactive, wrapped by, and continuation of fascia. So there is zero thing you can do with your body that the other end of the body isn't feeling or connect. So think about fascia as your communication highway of the body, because that's where all of your nerves are living, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
literally, when the fascia is what connects the communication. So when there's blocks in that freeway, right? When we have knots, when we're not hydrated, when our collagen's turned into protein because we're not filling the cell and it becomes this gluey mess, we don't get the muscle glide, right? When we don't have all of the freeway flowing, we create these disconnects of communication from the muscles to the body to the brain. That's where we go, oh, I just need to rub this right here, right? There's that knot in my back I can't get rid of. It's not going to work from rubbing alone, because it's a knot down through all those layers from the skin to essentially all the way down to the bone. I'm being dramatic, right? But imagine that it's like a flattening that happens, right? So even inside the muscles themselves, we've got that fascia. So it's not just wrapping things individually, it's connecting everything into one continuous structure from head to toe. You know, when you go to Costco, or think of your wholesale big, you buy a pack of chicken breasts, right? And then
Yeah.
sometimes inside the pack, the individual packs are also wrapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same idea. So our
Okay.
muscles are not just free flowing within the body. They are wrapped into nice little packages of fascia, wrapped into fascia, wrapped into fascia, wrapped into fascia, so that
Okay.
they
So
can communicate to each other.
are you talking about the what used to be it was a major discovery for me when cooking ribs. I was cooking ribs and they always came out tough, and then some guy who knows ribs better than me says, "Well, you got to pull that membrane off. If you
Hmm.
pull that white membrane off, then everything
Yes,
gets moist and juicy
got it.
and so that's a maybe a layer of fascia. Would that be
Yeah.
accurate?
Yep,
Okay.
and I'm gonna talk about that in a second. So yeah, you're on the right track. So think
Okay.
of anyway, fascia is not just this blah over the top of everything. It actually holds and then holds again. So that when I move through, the fascia is connecting to the movements. Anyway, the easiest way to picture it's like a spider web. If you pull
Okay.
one end part of that spider web, then the whole thing reacts. That's your body. Here's the funny part though, right? For decades, scientists thought the fascia was basically packing material when anatomy
Okay.
labs dissected bodies, because everything by then was we're dissecting bodies and doing it in cadavers. So the
Right.
hydration's gone. It's
Hydration's
deflated.
gone. You don't see their responses or reflexes of the rest of the
Yes,
body. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So that essentially the fascia was just packing material. So when anatomy labs dissected bodies, they would literally cut the fascia away and throw it so that they could see
Oh.
the muscle and the bone and understand everything underneath it. But there was very little,
Oh.
and I'm not saying never, I'm just saying most of the time what got written up was muscle and bone, whatever the crap this stuff is, move along, right? So it turns out what they're throwing away is the most important system in the body, uh,
Interesting. Yeah,
which is
you're
a
right
pretty big
because
oversight.
we know muscles are important because we see them moving when we're alive. We know nerves are important because cut anything.
You feel
And
it, right?
so it would make sense that especially in a scientific era where we started out thinking about humors, we thought the body was full of six fluids and some were magic
Right,
and some were bad for you
right,
and one was controlled by God. Um, that they would ignore a white, ethereal layer on top of the things that we knew we saw every day when we watched the carpenter move his
right.
tools.
Right.
Okay.
And because
Okay.
we're killing
I'm
animals, we're
tracking.
eating animals, like we never put the two together, right? Animals have this,
Yeah.
we have this. Like there was no like slow down. There wasn't an ability to study it, to be honest. So, in all fairness, we didn't have the ability to study it in live and in motion.
Yeah.
Um, And so where people have seen fascia in real life, right? The funny thing is most people have actually seen fascia before, they just didn't know what it was that they were looking at. So to your point, right? Let's talk about it in relation to an orange. If you touch,
Oh,
if you've peeled an orange, then you've touched fascia. When you open an orange, each slice is individually wrapped in that thin white membrane, right? That's what holds
yeah.
the little ball together after you've taken. So take the peel off. Look at the back of the
Uh-huh.
peel. There's that white pulp, the white pulp that held to the fruit, right? Back up a
Right.
little bit. When you have a hard orange and we manipulate it, we could actually make
Yeah.
the orange soft, right?
Right. We're going to loosen it up. I can't peel an unmanipulated orange. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. Same thing with what your chat has stopped and people are leaving.
What?
I hope we're
No,
good.
no, we're good. We're good. Yeah. Liz says
It's
I am loving this.
okay.
She's
Soup,
saying
eating it
I'm
up.
loving
We're
this.
loving this. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
When
We're
it
good.
stopped like
We're good.
moving, I was like, oh no. Okay. So just think of it that way, right? Like when you have a hard muscle or a hard orange, we can manipulate it. So that's beginning to start to move the fascia. If I peel the orange
Okay.
off, there's that white pulp. That pulp is what's holding the fruit to the peel. That's why you actually have to peel it, right? So that's the first layer. Then we go, well, the fruit's still stuck together. Well, all of
Right.
that's the segments are each individually being held together by essentially these thin white membranes called fascia for our body. Your muscles are being held together the same way.
Okay. So each muscle, the definition that we see between muscles is because each one is more or less encased in its own
Got it.
package of fascia. Okay.
Yes. So the muscle fibers live and have to be alone. Like they have their own function, but previously was thought that they just kind of rubbed up against each other, right?
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
it's not this rudimentary. It's very scientific. So if anybody's listening, they're like, there's a lot more
If
to
anyone is
this.
still listening.
I'm really simplifying this for you. But when you open that
And this
orange, right,
isn't
we have,
this is not a sales pitch. We're not trying to sell you a
there's no
timeshare
oranges. No,
or
I'm
there's no
not a
oranges.
Florida rep. There's no, and I'm not a doctor, right? Like none of this is, I'm not diagnosing, like I'm just sharing with you the knowledge that you could Google right now
I love
and
this. I think it's
find
super
it.
fascinating actually.
So that webby white layer connecting everything between the peel and the fruit, the webbing that organizes the structure of the orange. So when you bite into it, you still see that webbing in there. Basically,
Okay.
it's fascia. Your body's doing the same thing. Okay. So your muscles
Okay.
not just stacked next to each other like blocks, they're organized and then connected by this thin network that holds everything together. So another plate people you guys will see it is raw chicken. That's a little easier for me to describe, right?
Yeah.
If you've handheld raw chicken, notice that shiny thin layer that stretches over that top.
I think
That's
somebody in the
fascia.
chat mentioned silver skin. So yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when you tug one corner of that, though, the tension spreads through the entire surface, right? Imagine that raw piece of chicken, pull, right? You're going to see it come slide over the top of the whole piece. So the point is that tension is throughout the body. It travels throughout the body. So when body workers talk about tension traveling from the foot to the back of the neck, that is the visual, but it's literal too. When we are pulling on that sheet, somewhere else in the body is reacting. So
Okay.
you're with me?
I'm with you.
Okay.
I am actually tracking.
Okay. The fascial lines. So researchers eventually realized that these fascia forms long, continuous pathways throughout the body, like we talked about that communication. So one of the people who mapped this out was Thomas Myers. He's got some incredible books. I have them. They're pretty amazing. But he described called fascial lines. These are chains essentially. Think about like train tracks. They run
Okay.
throughout the body, the connective tissue pieces. One of them is called that superficial back line. This is one of those lines that most of the people feel most of their tension is because we live kind of hunched over. It runs from the bottom of your toes through the bottom of your feet up into your calves, up your hamstrings, along your spine, and over the back of your skull, comes right to the top of your eyebrow. Sam, if you Google superficial backline cadaver, you might be able to find a picture of it.
Now,
And it is one connected, think about Peter Pan's shadow.
yeah.
It lives like that in our body. It's one connected
Superficial.
piece, backline cadaver, and you'll see it like it's just one connected piece of tissue with the muscles attached within it. So think about the you know, at graduation where we make those candy necklaces for the kids but they're
Yeah.
all like cinched together.
Katie, this is so weird you're talking about this right now because I literally saw this today
Did you?
on there was an article that was like and I can't remember the headline, but it was like the crazy interconnected something or other. And it showed me a picture of this. I'm gonna open it up. Open link. No, not
Angie,
that.
we'll talk about why it feels like it's on fire all the time. I got you, girl. Hold on.
Open image and new tab. Here we go. Okay, yes. It's gonna be kind of pixelated, but
Yeah, it's kind of hard. You guys could Google it too.
what was wild was the picture they were showing me. I'm like, why does that look like a gray rabbit? And it kind of all right, so here we go. Let me just pull this up.
There's a few, so I hope. Yeah, yeah. So that one on the right, on the far left, that's the one I show my clients all the time. And then the one in the middle is laid against the body, how it actually lives on your body.
Okay, so this is wild. So
Will you
what
link
it
this into the podcast, Sam?
yeah. Yeah, I'll find a better picture and put
Yeah.
it in. So let me ask you then, what I'm looking at here is like it's not tracking necessarily with like the quads and
Because that's
everything,
the back
right?
of the body. Yeah.
This is the back of the body,
Yeah, superficial back line.
back line. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So you have them all over, or there's train tracks essentially for the whole body. I'm just talking about the
oh,
superficial back line right
just the
now.
back line. So this
Yeah.
is a track from the head that goes through the hip down each foot.
Yep.
And what we're looking at here is the head to left back line.
Yep. You got the
Okay.
epicranial fascia, right? I can't see it written out very well, but and then it'll go all the way back to your erector spinae. Do you see these words? It's so tiny on my screen.
Yeah.
So erector spinae is the big muscles in the back that run from the back of your neck all the way down to the top of your hip, all the way down to
Yeah.
the hamstring. So like right now, if you're sitting, straighten your legs, one leg, bring your toe to your
Okay.
shin and look down. You're going to feel that kind of zing maybe through the
Yeah.
back of your body. That's
Uh-huh.
the superficial back line well, there's all the lines, but that one specifically is kind of what you're feeling in that moment. So
Okay.
the muscles run through the fascia. So does that make sense? These are bags
Yeah.
essentially of fascia that are holding the muscles together that
Yeah.
create that connective tissue.
That is so wild. Like that kind of upends everything I've visualized. Like even when my body is moving.
Yeah.
Like if you had said,
it's not disconnected in any way, shape, or form.
yeah,
And then you add our emotions and our lymphatic system. It's like Big Bang's a joke, right? When you start to understand the science of the body, like anyway, we won't get into that for sure.
well, okay,
But
but like something you're kind of leaning into there a bit is that another discovery. I want to say it's more of a modern discovery, but that we've always known inflammation's a thing, but that inflammation we're realizing has massive repercussions on our emotions
yes,
and our nervous system to like a major degree now. And it reminds me of this meme I saw a little while ago. We've probably all seen it. It's like, I feel terrible. And and the other person is like, did you drink enough water today? No. Did you go out and did you see the sun? No. Did you eat real food? No. Have you gotten any sleep?
mhm,
No. But it's like, again, you can't monetize inflammation as well as you can monetize Doan's back pills, right?
right.
Because who cares if my foot looks swollen or doesn't? I could buy a pill maybe that helps me with that, but I don't know that I'm feeling any different, but I do know when my back doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So we've
And
ignored.
that's what I work with a lot is I tell people all the time when we start, I'm going to clear the cobwebs in your body, literally, so that it's going to only be left. What's left is what needs to be seen by a doctor. We can clear, and I'm going to say 90% of the time they come in with something that they think is diagnosed by a doctor. We try this. 90% of the time it's cleared because all it was a stuck joint because of fascia and synovial fluid needing to be moved and myofascial release and right. So and they don't want us to know this, people. Like, no, they don't want us to, well, they don't even know this, to be honest.
Well,
Doctors, right?
We're finding that.
Yeah.
Our brother, Jake is like I would put him on the level of like pharmacology bro, right? He's a gym bro, but I think he's onto something. I saw this quote a little while ago. You want to know the next phase in medical advancements as far as what you should be putting in your body and everything. Talk to bodybuilders, because they manifest the results of their consumption more than anybody, right? And I'm not saying that they should be listened to more than doctors, but I think to your point, there's something about. He told me this. He's like, yeah, I'll go to dinner, and he lives in a neighborhood with literal doctors and surgeons. He'll be at dinner with them. He'll bring up something, a protein stack or some protocol, some lipid or something, and they'll laugh at him because nobody in the doctor world has told them how to prescribe it yet. And so it's still in like pseudoscience land, and they won't even give it the time of day.
Yeah. And it's too
Yeah.
bad, right? I mean, to your point, yes, people who have used their body to learn these things are the people you want to listen to. They're the lived experience, right? So the
They're the
bodybuilder, and
autodidacts.
they are 100%, but they get zero respect because they're just meatheads. Well, it takes
Even if
real
you were,
science to know how to do that.
I feel confident in saying, because, we always want to be cautious, blah, 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 because the FDA could shut down our show. No, even if you 50-50
Can they?
split it, no. Even if
Okay,
you
'cause
50-50
I'm
split
about
it,
to
though.
kint that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you cut your intake of knowledge in half and said, and don't dismiss doctors,
No,
heaven forbid,
no.
but find a couple good resources where it's, I hate to say it, but the main place a lot of these people survive and thrive is social media, which
But
sucks
it's because they're
from
not
this.
given another platform,
Yeah, right.
right? It's not because
Mhm.
it's not valid science and research.
Right. Yeah. And so it's a strike against them because we perceive social media to be a certain thing. And if you get the moniker of influencer, it takes your people's perception of you another way. But I actually would be very interested if you wanted to ever throw me some names or maybe
Yeah.
accounts that people could source.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I will do that, and you can put it in there because to your point, you do also need to be careful. Like, there are the
yeah,
weekend warrior personal trainers who just are skinny and they're like, "Do what I do." And I'm like, "Genetics? Like, I can't get
injury.
your genetics, right?" So, there you do need to be careful, and you'll know them by your fruit. There's fruit, you shall know them, right? If what they're saying feels or sounds odd, it probably is, and I wouldn't follow them. If what they're saying can be researched and is found valid, then follow, right? So anyway,
If
yes.
within one link you're buying something, maybe avoid.
0, yeah, we're gonna unfollow, don't go back, right? Most of the ones who are legit are like me, are just excited and want you to take care of your body and know about it, right? I have 0
Yeah.
thing to sell. Couldn't care I do care if you don't. I want you to listen and help your body, but it doesn't affect me if you don't, right?
Right. Right.
So, kinda actually to that point, right? Your fascia, if you're feeling tension in your foot, it influences your neck and your head and your elbow, ladies, what you're talking about in the chat, right? That is where that is happening. So that's why sometimes people go to a body worker with shoulder pain, but where does a practitioner start working? The ribs or the hips or the feet or right?
I
Right.
remember
So they're
I
going to,
remember the headline from the article that I found. The headline was "Your tongue and your toes are connected."
yeah.
And I was like, "What?" And it was
And
a
there's a
picture.
fascial line for that. You'll see it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it feels like magic. It's not magic, right? But we're working on the connected line, not just the painful spot, which is why I train my practitioners. We never say, "What do you want to work on today?" I have a plan. If you're a good practitioner, then I know what we're working on, and I'm not going to touch you in the spot you think I'm going to touch you on, right? Um, I'm going to feel it so that I have an idea, but I'm going to be working on a different line altogether. So, weird fascial fact.
Another
Um,
another way, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't. Did I cut you off? Were
no,
you about
go.
to give a
Uh-huh.
fact?
Nope,
Well, I was
I
just going
will.
to say the way the anatomy of what you're talking about, the structures inside of our body are so unrepresented in I would say K through 12 education, they look foreign. Like the pictures I'm looking at, they don't like if you I'm going to show one more because this one is case in point. It's a higher resolution too. But the reason I'm sharing it is because here we go, is what it's showing isn't sexy. What it's showing isn't the normal Vitruvian man delineated muscles. It looks like somebody wrapped a skeleton in bacon. But what you're saying is that this is a fundamental baseline structure.
Yeah, and that's the lateral, right? That's one of the lateral lines. So what you're looking at there is essentially we're emphasizing that the lateral fascial line. And when we're talking about fascia, you guys, again, it's the muscles that are held in the packaging of that fascia. So it's a really important piece. Like I want you to think about your fascia like the bag that holds the oranges, right? It holds everything together. But yeah, it's not sexy and that's creepy, right? You're essentially looking at a cadaver there.
You're looking at groceries inside of an Aldi bag. You're not looking at the groceries themselves. Yeah. It's really fascinating for me though. I really do enjoy this. Okay, anyway.
So to that point, then it's one of those things where, we think about when you go in to get helped, so many of my clients, I just want this done. I just am here. I need you to work on my neck, right? But we have to understand that I'm sending you a picture of the fascial lines broken up. You don't have to share it, but just to your point. Okay. That in modern life, why bodies feel tight, right? Stretching isn't always the answer. A lot of the time, stretching isn't the answer. And a lot of the time, we're actually stretching the wrong structure. So modern life, right? And why our bodies feel tight is because fascia adapts to how we use our bodies. That's where we get the whole move it or lose it. Because your fascia is going to adapt to the way that we use our bodies. I want you to think about a sponge, grandma's sponge on the sink, right? When they're new, they're supple and they're like bouncy little sponges, right? As they age, they go like this, kind of in that crumpled forward position, and it kind of gets that lift. We do the same thing as humans, right? We start to kind of crunch in. But the cool thing is, you don't have to stay that way. My oldest client was 90 years old, sweet little Indian man, and the amount of work we were able to do on his 90-year-old body was astounding, right? I didn't get him standing up and sprinting across the room, but by understanding the science of fascia and how to connect it, the memory is there. The age is what has affected him, right? So you can work to get the body back to certain degrees. If you move a lot and change positions frequently throughout the day, then your fascia stays hydrated and elastic. What we miss in modern day is we sit most of the day, whether we're working or on the couch, and then our fascia reorganizes around that position, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to reorganize in the positions that you sit, you lay, you stand, right? Your body literally becomes the shape of your habits. So that's why people can wake up one day and say, my back hurts. I didn't do anything, right? I did not even do anything to make it hurt. But often it's not the one big injury. It's the small mechanical tension building over time. So that when I go, my body's like, what are you doing that for? We don't stretch. We sit all day.
Because you're prior to that for 22 hours, your fascia was in the shape of a Barca lounger.
Exactly. So then all of a sudden I'm just supposed to go full cat stretch, right? It's not going to happen. Your body's like, sorry. Yeah. So we've recreated some things here and now you're hurting. So for example, a great example of fascia showing up in real life is the plantar fasciitis. A lot of people have that. Maybe women specifically are nodding their heads. How did she know this? That's crazy.
She a wizard?
I am. I'm a wizard. The great example of fascia is that, though, right? It's the irritation of the fascia along the bottom of the foot. Like if we think back to that picture, that bottom piece, right? Millions of people experience this. Again, a lot of women as we age. It's interesting because women in their late 30s and early 40s, all of a sudden, have this thing called plantar fasciitis, right? And women entering menopause, the hormonal shift, their loss of estrogen is what affects the connective tissue elasticity and hydration. So estrogen influences the collagen and tissue resilience. That's a whole nother podcast. Maybe I'll be invited back. But when those levels shift, that fascia becomes a little less forgiving, right? And so this is one of the reasons we see more things like heel pain and foot tension during those stages of life. But really, most people respond by stretching the foot and calf constantly. Stretching can help, but here's the twist. Why it's not helping is because the body also needs strength. So I
Okay.
want you to think about this. If I sit in a forward position typing all day long, my fascia has realigned itself, right?
Right.
Think about, I want you to everybody close their eyes and picture that. Do it for me. What in the body right now needs to be stretched and what needs to be strengthened?
So I'm sitting in my chair. Say it again. I'm sitting in my chair.
You're sitting in your chair
Yeah.
and you're feeling tight, right? So you want
Yeah.
to stand
Yeah.
up. What in the body needs to be stretched and what needs to be strengthened?
Well, I'm not smart about strengthened, so
Well, just look at your
everything
body. So
feels
let's go
needs to be
stretch. What needs
stretched.
to be stretched from that position?
My back and my neck for sure.
Okay, wait, that's where you feel the tension. But what
Oh.
muscles are currently contracted that need to be stretched?
Oh. My
Do a
heart.
crunch. What are you,
Okay.
you're
Oh, my
using
abs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So your front needs to be
Oh,
stretched.
I see what you're saying. Because I'm okay. Yes, I'm in a
Yeah, I got you.
slumpy, dumpy
I probably
position.
asked it stupid, right? So I need to stretch the front. But now what happens when you do that? Like we've been sitting here for a long time. My
Yeah.
lower back is feeling it, right? So when I
Right.
do that, where do I actually feel the tension? In my low
My
back,
back.
right?
Right.
Because that
Yeah.
needs to be strengthened. So I have to, in
Uh,
order for the deep frontal fascial line to be extended, I have to have the strength of the muscles in the back of the body to keep them up.
to keep them
So
up. Okay.
yes. So it's not always stretching. In fact, sometimes stretching is not the thing. I actually have to strengthen the backside of the thing I want to stretch so that it holds it in place. I can stretch all day long, but the second I sit back down, boom, I go back
Boom.
in,
I
right?
I have a really weird visual that I've always applied, and I think it works here, is imagine like, Son going to Sonic Burger and getting one of their red straws, right? They're kinda big. You take a hole punch, and you hole punch out of the side of it half of the straw.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the rigidity of that straw is 0. I could bend it forward and everything. And in a way, what's left there at that bending point in the straw in my mind is those are my back muscles because I zeroed out my abs. I have no abs to speak of strength-wise, so my back ones are doing everything. And until I add strength until I add abs, my back is going to need to be strengthened to compensate for 0 abs.
Got
Is
it.
that kind of what you're
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're realizing, right, is but you have all these deep lines, Sam. So like it's not just right.
Muscular.
You even have a spiral myofascial line. Like there are if we
I'm
remember that the
excited.
fascias, if you remember that the muscles are being held by the fascia, right?
Uh-huh.
They
Uh-huh.
they are intrinsically being used together. So I can't have a weak muscle group inside that fascia and expect for the fascia to move well. And I'm not going to be able to expect those muscles to be able to compensate for the opposite side, which is where we see a lot of issue. A lot of the times what we're looking for is the body's compensation pattern is where we're actually using the majority of our energy, right? Think about rowing a boat. We're kind of all over the place, so sorry. Think about rowing a boat. If I'm talking about compensation, right? You do the oars with me, right? So your arms are out in front.
Yeah.
We pull nice and solid,
Right.
right? Your right side starts to go wonky. So now stop using the right side, but I still need the boat to stay straight. So which arm is now going to have to compensate?
You're gonna have to
The
use your
left
left
side.
hand much more.
Right.
Right.
So maybe think about your tire in a car went out. Boom. What do? We got to pull the wheel to the
Turn
left.
the other way.
Right. So too many times we're concentrating on the wheel that popped, But the problem is on the left side that we're using to compensate for the body to stay straight, because biomechanically, your body's going to make it happen. It's going to stay straight, right?
Right.
So I've
Right.
lost function or not function maybe, but full capacity on the right side. We ignore the left. We go to the injury, the injury, the injury, the injury, right? We don't focus on what we're losing on the opposite side. So that's where strength and stretching come into place. That goes back to the beginning where I was talking about strength and flexibility equals mobility. Ultimately, we're
Right.
ultimately looking for mobility. So sometimes the body needs strength and not stretching. Sometimes that tightness is not about short tissue. Sometimes the tightness in the body is reacting to create stability, right? So
Okay.
to your point earlier, the inflammation, right? Our body is going to try to protect ourselves. So if an area is weak or overloaded, then the body creates tension to protect it.
Okay.
If it's weak, I don't necessarily want to stretch it. I want to strengthen that thing, right?
Right.
Low back is a really great spot. Most of us feel it in our low back. A lot of us don't know we have a muscle called the psoas. What is that, right?
It's like buried
Low
under your
back
hip.
pain, you got it. It's your
Yeah.
most posterior and it's your most posterior ab muscle, core muscle, right? Not an ab
Right.
muscle. So it's very important to know your body because, anyway, again, that's another episode.
Well,
So,
okay, but to kind of draw a circle around what you're talking about, like a couple things come to mind for me. One is I learned from the Joe Rogan podcast about the psoas, and I was like, okay, great. And there's another one right there too that I bought a hook for. I
well,
bought
it's
this
iliopsoas. So it's the iliacus and the
the
psoas muscles run
iliacus.
next
Yeah,
to each other. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the iliacus, I saw. I don't know. Again, I'm on Instagram all the time, but I see this guy's like, you got really bad back pain right here, and you can't
Mm-hmm.
bend over more than this. It's not your
Mm-hmm.
back; it's your iliacus and your psoas. And then I gave in, and it was like, buy this hook. But I gotta say,
Yeah.
the only way to get to the iliacus and the psoas muscles is with a hook. You literally
Yeah.
lay on it, and it pushes inside of your hip and releases that muscle. And as soon as I did it and I gave myself a little bit of time, and you got to be cautious because there's like a bunch of like a web of nerves right there and everything, but I got in there and made some progress with the hook. I got up and my back pain was gone and I could bend over, and it was like oppositeville Tuesday,
Yeah.
because I was like, how did I just abuse my front hip and my
And
back
feel it in your back.
did a
Right.
thing?
Yeah.
It was crazy, but that's again, like, doctors can't monetize that. I mean, you can monetize the hook, but you got to hook me to
Right.
believe that what you're saying is right, because it
And the
doesn't make
hooker has
sense.
to know what they're hooking, right?
Exactly.
Like,
And so to your
so
point
it
where
takes somebody in your life to be able to
another
help you know
party.
how to do it. Right.
Yes.
So, yes. So, anyway, again, the better answer in a lot of this is more strength, calves, stronger hips, stronger feet to reduce that load traveling through the fascia line. It's one of the big shifts happening in movement and rehab right now, which is why you're seeing things like Stretch Lab. You're seeing things like iFlex. You're seeing things like the Vital Stretch. Like you're seeing these buildings pop up because people don't care anymore about, not so much anymore like we used to, just about building muscle and working out. Now
Right.
we're understanding longevity is the goal, right?
Right.
Our generation of middle aged is like, oh, hold up. I just want to feel better. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to be rail thin, right? We just want health. And so more into intelligence into strength and movement is what's happening. So anyway, really the closing thought, you guys, is we just there's so much into this. The fascial lines are fascinating, and the biggest misconception about the body is that the collection of separate parts, and it's not. We're not a car like we thought we were, right? But
Right.
it's
Right.
actually a network. Muscle, fascia, nerves, bones, it's all communicating to each other, which means when something hurts, the answer is not always right away where the pain is, and the answer is not always to stretch more, because the body does not just respond to what we do once. It responds to what we do
Yeah.
every day. So if we're really truly looking to undo those things, then will understand that I have to be responsible for my daily habits, right? Um, if I really truly want to be more
Well,
healthy. So,
what's maddening about this too is like the question on the top of my mind is, okay, how there has to be a list of there has to be, like, step A has to be, okay, what can I do on my own? And I'm going to show you something right now, because I think lack of education and lack of understanding is so fundamental to this. It's like we didn't learn anything from the 60s gym pictures, because when we all walk in the gym, we all don't know how to use the machines, and everything you're talking about, fascia and releasing it, and that it's fundamental core, no pun intended, to a lot of feeling good is, again, it comes down to, okay, but when I sit up in the morning and I'm on the edge of the bed, what can I do on my own? And then how far do I go before my education or my understanding triggers to, like, when I get a cold, I'm like, I think I can fight this off. And then it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, this is where I go to the doctor. Like,
Right.
we need to gain a new level of understanding of, okay, I'm sitting on the edge of my bed and I'm releasing some fascia on my own. I'm doing a couple things, but also I know, okay, if I'm going to really dig into that, I need help with that. Now I'm going to show you something embarrassing. I'm going to turn around really quick. Tell me if you can see the back of my neck.
Yes, I can.
Can you see the wounds on it?
Yeah. This is WebMD. I will bill you later.
Okay. No. I got to tell you. Okay. So this is on point.
Are you molting?
No. Okay. Check this out. So
I did.
yeah. Okay. So I broke my neck in 2012, and ever
Yeah.
since 2012, every time I get into bed, since about maybe 6 months after breaking my neck, I noticed that I could just lightly push my head into the pillow, and my C1 and C2, which are my cervical spine, the one that's connected to my brain, and the next one, those two spinal pieces, pop. And it was such a relaxing feeling. I'd push into my pillow with my head in it, and go click, click. And so for what, 20, what is that, 12, I'm bad at math, 14 years, right? I can push my head into my pillow and pop, and then I go to bed. It's like, I don't know, part of my routine.
Like sucking your thumb.
Yeah. But okay, a year ago, I get into bed and I push into my pillow and it goes, it didn't pop. Yeah. It just felt like, I don't know if you ever, like, halfway popped your thumb and you're like, ow, it hurt. And I was like, great. And then the next morning I woke up and it felt like I had inflated my neck with cooking oil. And I was just, I was groggy and everything hurt and I was stiff. And for a year now, like, I have to do a full torso turn to look out the back window when I'm backing up the car. I can't, I've lost that. I've lost it. So here's me being an idiot. I'm on social medias and I check a couple things, and before you know it, the algorithms picked it up that I've got neck problems, and I'm seeing all these posts, right? And it's like, your cervical spine's out, and if you go to the chiropractor, they do this laser guided, like, it's a rod, they put it right behind your ear and it goes tick and it clicks your cervical spine. I'm like, oh, great. So I chat GPT it and I'm like, okay, so I'm getting this feedback. Do I need to do that? And they're like, it's like, you can't fix this on your own. There's nothing you can do. You can release the muscles under your skull to a certain degree, and that'll give you some relief, but X, Y, Z, A, B, C. It was giving me things, and it's not a doctor, and it keeps telling me, and it's like, and I'm arguing with them, like, I just want to fix this on my own. It's like, you can't. So what do? I go and get the Theragun, right?
Not on your cervical spine.
Not only on my cervical spine. I'm like, I saw the video of the chiropractor. No. He had a metal rod on it, not a big drubby bubby big block. So I take this arrowhead point one that you can put on the end of the Theragun. And the Theragun is like a super massager for people that don't know. I put the arrowhead point on it. And I'm sitting there, no one's in the room, and I'm just hammering the daylights out of my skull and underneath my skull and everything. And the feeling I was having was, I was like, oh, it's pinching my skin, it's pinching my hair. It's like, I'm Theragunning in my hairline. And I was like, ow, ow, ow. No, what I was doing was tearing my skin off. I went over to our brother's house, and he looks at my neck. He's like, bro, you've got shingles. Have you seen your neck lately? I'm like, yeah, actually. So, but that's the big circle around everything you're talking about is, if not now, maybe we do a little short follow-up on the next Never Daily, and you say,
Liz, Samathy, you actually have Katie's phone number.
if only I knew someone.
Because that head also is the wrong one. Like, that's very
Oh,
targeted.
I was batting 1,000 with mistakes, but I
Yeah.
think the point of the whole thing is this: fascia is hard to spell, let alone hard to manage for someone individually. And then,
Yeah.
when do you know that you need to get some management there? And then where do you go? Like,
Yeah.
you've really opened
So
Pandora's box here with your green
I
screen
really
behind
have.
you.
And hold on, let me pick a mic. Derek, I'm so good I don't even need a desk. All right. It's like, or my coffee. Listen, yes. When do you ask for help? How do we manage this on our own? First, hydration is huge. That's why we went down that diatribe. Half your body weight in ounces. You're not
Okay.
going to, the inflammation you have in your body, we've got to start moving that out. There are rollers specifically for fascia that people will always ask me about. I caution people against them only because to what you just did to your own neck. They're
Yeah.
totally awesome, but you really have to be careful, right? It
You
does,
can hurt yourself.
and you're not going to get down to the level of fascia you think you're getting to, right? So
Okay.
people are
All
just
right.
really bruising the crap out of themselves. There is a point where it becomes not effective. So without hydration and movement, first of all, it doesn't do any good. So you have to find a way to stretch. You've got to start moving these things first. You have synovial fluid in your joints. You've got facet joint stem. The fact that you did that, like, inflammation is what you just created, right? Because
Yeah.
especially your neck, there's not a lot around it, right? And so
No.
it just threw a big old ball of protection against it, because it's like, I don't know, this idiot just keeps trying to get to my bone, so I'm going to go ahead and just load
He's
that
going.
guy up.
He's going for the spinal column. You
Right.
know,
He's trying to do his own spinal tap at
I
home.
think he's trying to
So,
paralyze himself. Okay, so here, let's sum this up. Do you have a couple, which we can put into the description, the podcast description for this episode, a couple online resources where if somebody wanted to release their own fascia, someone that you'd trust, that you would say, hey, you should check out this person's page or account or whatever. And then also what someone might want to search through Google to find local help for themselves, if they wanted to go down this route. Could we put that together, do you think, to put in the
yeah.
description? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And I think my husband's like, "Are you dead in there with your two mics?" Um Yes, I can. First and foremost, just kind of answering some of these. The Tai Chi isn't any movement. I'm never going to talk crap about any modality that gets people feeling better about their body. So
Yeah.
Tai Chi is definitely an amazing. I do it before my workouts. I have my own little routine. They're all over. I wish I could remember the guy's name. He does a phenomenal, like, I don't know, 5 minute, 4 minute Tai Chi movement before we work out, which is really great. Um, any massage is very just superficial, you guys. So just know that going in, like, it's going to feel really good, but we haven't done anything uh, biomechanically. You for sure helped your lymphatic system. Your muscles feel good. Like, we flushed out a lot. There's a benefit to
Right.
it. People
Yeah.
who go to just the chiropractor, it's not working because you're not working from the joint out. You're just working at the joint. So stretching is where that comes into play. If you want your chiropractics to work, you need to find a one-on-one assisted stretching place within your
Okay.
community, and make sure that they are accredited, that they don't just have Joe's stretching certification, but that they're looking for something like NASM certified, NASM. You're looking for like legit certifications in this stuff. Um,
What
TENS
would be the
machines,
Google
Liz,
term? Would you say
assisted
NASM
stretching. Oh, NASM,
assisted
but
stretching?
mostly you would go to the business first. So if you go to like
Okay.
Stretch Lab or iFlex or the Vital Stretch in your area, if you just look at one-on-one assisted stretching in my area,
Okay. Okay.
sometimes physical therapists will have them in their office. Sometimes personal trainers will do it, but you just want to be careful again.
There's a couple
Again,
OnlyFans sites.
yeah. Remember in the beginning when I was talking about PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation?
Yeah.
If you want to know if
Yeah.
somebody is truly certified and qualified, you just ask them, do you use PNF? If they hum and haw and aren't sure how to answer that, just hang up. Like, that is the only real kind of stretching that's going to make a difference for you.
Okay.
And like we work hand in hand. Like your chiropractor loves you to get stretched, and your stretch person loves for you to go to the chiropractor. Like, and massage. Cassie, to your point about TENS machines are great, but they're really just for pain management. Cupping, don't do it at home. Like, everybody can buy cups on Amazon now. We just damage ourselves. So, I don't say don't do it. Just be really careful. You can overcup, we
Know
can
what you're doing.
oversaturate. Yeah, you got to know what you're doing. Um, these are places where it is worth spending money on the right people.
And to my point, if you have legit problems and you're blessed enough to have insurance, insurance covers a lot of this stuff
Yeah,
too.
you can definitely
If you
call your
can,
insurance. What
yeah.
I will say there is whether or not a lot of the boutique don't take the insurance because it requires them to have certain licenses of their
Ah,
practitioners. Do you get what I'm saying? So
yeah, yeah.
definitely do research, but there are, like, we take FSA, HSA, right? So there are ways to have insurance pay for it if you have certain, and even saying that, there is reimbursement programs within insurance anymore too. And I know that's getting bigger and better. So, um,
Cool.
yeah. So I don't know. It's hard for me to
That's
like give
crazy.
direct feedback because I don't know where you guys are at or whatever. But at the end of the day, you don't have to suffer. And a lot of this you can do on your own. When it comes to stretching, do find somebody to help you through it. But your myofascial release, you guys get on a roller. I've been playing with this little ball here as we talk, and just sit. If you're gonna sit, cool, but then have something to kind of move through your fascia.
Sit on a ball.
Um, sit,
Well, right before
go
we
sit
started,
on
you're
a
like,
ball.
I got to put this ball under my foot. So you were rolling a ball under your foot. So what
Yeah,
you're saying is I can still watch my shows at night, but I can be
100%.
doing something to
Yeah.
manipulate a part of my body while I'm doing it and feel better.
Yeah, and your Theraguns are
Okay.
powerful. Like, those are good tools.
Oh, yeah, they sure are.
Yes.
They're a surgical tool if in my hands.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll take the cone away
just
from
just to
Sam.
So I want to set the tone a little bit because this is Katie's first time on the show, and she hit us between the eyes with more medical input and guidance than we've probably gotten. We did have our mortician on, Karen, and she's a genius. But that was dead people. So,
Yeah.
right. But just to set the tone of when you're thinking, okay, when I come back to the Never Daily, is Katie going to be stretching me more? I need to tell you this. She texted me when she was doing initial research for this episode, and she said this to me. She said, have you discussed Vlado Tedeschi, the serial killer journalist who reported on his own murders? I said, oh my gosh, no, that sounds interesting. And then she hit us with fascia. So Katie is a very wide body of knowledge. It won't be stretch every single time, but she's very smart in it, and I'm really excited.
But
I'm
we might do
actually,
Katie's kinesiology corner. Like, we
yes,
might
I
just
think
have
we
that
should
be a
have a
little blip.
segment
And it
where
won't be 3 hours long.
no, but I think that's really important, especially the kind of stuff like I follow this one gal on Instagram. She's like, today I'm going to show you how to release blah.
Yeah.
And it's all about fascia release, and she's soft spoken. It's kind of ASMR, so it's nice to listen to, but she's teaching me something. She's like, this right here, you can do this in 3 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really easy, and you'll love yourself for it. And so, yeah, I love that we're adding that to this show because it's a fun fact to know and share. It's also something that people could start doing the moment you say it on the show rather than, geez, I
Yeah.
really should try that when I'm done with the show. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. Thanks. That was a
No,
lot
guys, I
of,
love murder, death, and
it was a
weird
lot.
things too. So that will be also a part of this. So
Yeah.
if I'm invited back, I guess we'll have to wait for the reviews to see.
Well, you're pretty locked and loaded in my opinion, but, uh, you know, our listeners are also not shy of saying their opinions. So
Yeah, I'm guaranteed.
just remember, people, you're talking to someone who will cut a bitch. She
That's
will.
right.
Um, I'll share what I brought. And before we started, I was like, mine's kind of not long, so I felt a little sheepish. But now I'm like, okay, we've gotten a very good
Plenty.
dose. So I'll round things up with this weird tale I have here. So I'm going to tell you about a man who decided one day, this sounds so banal, so boring. He decided one day to walk home. Not metaphorically though, not like a spiritual journey of sorts, not like I'm finding myself, but physically he decided to walk home. His name is Carl Bushby. And in 1998, he stood in Punta Arenas, which sounds like a swear word, which is about as far south as you can get in South America without bumping into Antarctica. So he said while he's there, I'm going to walk home to England. So if instantly, even like first grade geography, you're like, I think there's some water between the two. So good luck there, buddy. He decided Carl's going to walk to England. So Carl meant England, though. He wasn't England, South America or something. It wasn't a joke. He had one rule. This is wild. How is he going to do this? No boats, no planes, no hitchhiking, no scooter, nothing with wheels. If it moved faster than a brisk Sunday stroll, he wasn't getting on it. Here's the part that makes this less inspirational and maybe a little more clinically fascinating. He has stuck to that rule in his walk home for more than 25 years so far. Okay, so
That's a long
back in
journey.
1998, Carl, yeah, also like, I don't know if I've
I don't
ever
know.
decided
Maybe
to
you're
do
going.
something knowing maybe 11:59. Who knows how long it's going to go. Okay, so back in 1998, Carl wasn't some sponsored influencer with a hydration brand. He wasn't like a paratrooper in the British Army. He did service in places like Bosnia, and he finished his contract. And instead of going home like a normal person, he thought, what if I walked? And that was the entire pitch. That was it. So he called it the Goliath Expedition, which is a bold name for something that mostly involves putting one foot in front of the other. From Punta Arenas, he headed north. The goal was to walk the entire length of the Americas, cross into North America, cross into North America, and then the next line is get to Alaska. So there's a lot of land between getting into North America and Alaska, but that was his plan. Step 2, get in North America. Step 3, get to Alaska. And then somehow he was going to deal with the ocean problem. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but England isn't attached to anything. So that's an issue. So the first stretch took him through Chile and Argentina, the Patagonia steppe, wind that could peel your eyebrows off better than my Theragun peeled my skin off my neck. It's wide open nothingness out there. You ever drive through western Kansas and think, wow, this is flat. This is that, but with like emotional depth to it that grabs your soul or maybe your fascia. Then came the Andes Mountains. So Carl didn't just walk around the Andes. He went over them. High altitude passes, thin air, snow, rock, remote villages, the whole 9 yards. Then he hit Peru. Then he hit Ecuador, then Colombia. And Colombia in the early 2000s was not exactly TripAdvisor's top recommendation. So there were armed groups, kidnappings, drug cartels, and here comes this British man with a backpack just walking through like he's late for brunch reservation. People would ask him, they're like, what are you doing? And he'd say, walking home. which sounds like the world's worst cover story, especially if you're walking through cartel territory. So eventually, he made it to Central America. So that's like Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras. This is where the jungle shows up and says, "You thought the mountains were hard. That was cardio. This is survival." So he's walking through dense rainforest, heat that sits on your shoulders, mosquitoes that sit there like they're Tinkerbell. And the real enemy, though, in this case, wasn't the jungle, though. It was actually paperwork. So when you walk through countries, you still need visas, even if you're walking through them. I know that kind of blows the minds of a lot of people right now in 2026, but what? So you can't just show up at a border crossing sweaty and determined and say, "I'm committed to cross into your territory and I'm just passing through." So governments get a little weird about that. So over the years, Carl's progress was really slowed, not by the mountains and everything, but geopolitics. So there were diplomatic tensions. So he had visa restrictions, border closures, entire governments were changing while he's like mid-hike. So you think your travel plans get messed up when your flight gets delayed. He had country delays in his case, and some of these were for years. So he makes it to the mid-2000s. Carl has reached Mexico and then the United States. So he walked through Texas, Arizona, California, Nevada, Utah, deserts, endless roads, gas stations, mirages. He walked through cities where nobody noticed him and through towns where everyone noticed him. So imagine trying to explain that to a local diner. So like, where are you headed? England.
Yeah.
But he's going north. So it's like you're on the wrong continent and you're going north.
They're all,
You're
"Who's gonna
absolutely
tell
going the
him?"
wrong way. Yeah, exactly. Where's your compass? Did Mattel make it? He pulls out like a Doc McStuffins compass. So he
No, it's
keeps
Dora
going
the
north.
Explorers. Compass, compass.
It's a map. So he keeps going north. He gets through Montana and through Canada, which that's a mouthful right there. Just through Canada. It's very tall as far as geography goes. By this point, he's walked thousands upon thousands of miles. Blisters became a personality trait for him. He reached Alaska, which is where the map really stops cooperating, because between Alaska and Russia is a little thing called the Bering Strait, and it's not walkable. We think it might have been a couple 100,000 years ago, but not now. That is, it's not walkable most years. So here's where the story shifts from like eccentric to this man has an unusual relationship with risk. Carl decides to cross the Bering Strait on foot. This is water. It's a waterway. Like, do you remember the show, that one about the fishermen, that like deep sea fishermen? Like it was a reality show?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what that
No.
was called. That was like the Bering Strait. They were in the Bering Strait. Okay. So he decides to walk the Bering Strait on foot. Technically, you can't cross open ocean unless you're Jesus.
Right.
But in winter, if conditions are just right, part of the strait freezes. And in 2006, he and a companion stepped onto that ice. They trekked across frozen sea between Alaska and Russia. They had to hop because sometimes they were on ice floes. They had to leap over open water gaps, and they were dealing with temperatures that just didn't forgive. They finally reached Russian territory. Impressive. It's also when the authorities said, "No, absolutely not." They were detained by Russian border guards, not because walking was illegal necessarily, but because crossing international maritime borders on foot without the proper paperwork is apparently really frowned upon. So he was eventually deported, reversed on his journey back to the United States, which if you're trying to walk home without using vehicles, That's several thousand miles inconvenient. So for years, Carl was stuck in limbo. He couldn't legally enter Russia. He couldn't move forward. He wouldn't take a plane because that breaks the rule. So the expedition just stalled for years. Then he returned. So he returned to the UK briefly to resolve visa issues. So he had to go to the UK, like kind of like a timeout, like no one, like the clock's
Yeah.
not running.
You go
So
here.
he worked jobs, he raised some money, he navigated some bureaucracy. Then global politics got more complicated. Tensions between Russia and the West didn't exactly create a friendly walk or welcome environment. So the journey stretched from a bold multi-year adventure into a multi-decade saga. Weather delays, then we hit the pandemics, then there's war, then diplomatic shutdowns. He basically was trying to outlast global instability by walking, and he was proving that might not be possible. So as of now, Carl has walked more than 30,000 miles. That's more than the circumference of the earth. He's walked through every kind of land we've got to throw at him: deserts, jungles, mountain ranges, Arctic ice. Never a vehicle, never an Uber, no cruise ships, no little airport moving sidewalks or anything, just his boots. Here's the part that really settles in. He started in 98. So if you think about that, in 98, people were worried about Y2K. Blockbuster was thriving, and you couldn't Google how to cross the Bering Strait in 1998.
Right.
So while the world has changed, smartphones, social media, streaming, everything, Carl was still walking. He's now working toward completing the expedition in the UK in the upcoming years, which means one day after decades of movement, he'll step back onto British soil and technically just be home. Just that's the goal. Just that one goal. Won't be a dramatic helicopter shot or any kind of parade. Just this one dude's been outside for 25 years, finally saying, well, that's that.
That's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
he's not
Because you're
done
right.
either. And
Like there
so,
wasn't like maps. Like we didn't have Google Maps. Like this was all done old school.
yeah, like he could probably write a book for South
Yeah.
Americans on how
Right.
to cross the American border. He's probably the best guy to do it. And what's weird is the goal is paused, right? So he's
Yeah.
back in the UK. Technically, he would have had to have flown there or some boat or whatever. I don't know his standards when you're off the clock, but so he's revving back up. He's gonna square away his diplomatic hurdles and everything, and then he'll start where they left him off. Like he's not skipping forward or anything like that. He's just gonna go back to where they deported him and start walking from there. I don't know. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy. That's a crazy story. I mean, talk
Crazy.
about focus. I'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah, or any of the things that could have come along the way. Like you meet a lovely lady in a cantina halfway there, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could settle here. Like this story could have ended 80 times already. You know, anything could have been a good excuse.
It's
He
crazy.
started in the Bush era. Like just to put that in perspective, like that's weird. Anyway,
Yeah. That's wild. Well, good for
from
him.
fascia to fascism, we've covered it all tonight. So anyway, I hope everybody liked this. I hope everybody had a fun time. Katie, will you come back?
I would love to come back.
I don't have another option. So you're it, you know. And people can judge me however they
Well,
want, you know.
listen, there's zero pressure on this now. Like it's just having the show be good and be entertaining without the pressure of I'm not trying to build a podcast. I'm not trying to become a creator. I'm not going anywhere. Like,
Me neither.
There's no there's no developing me into the next step, which is what you do with a lot of them. And so
Yeah, that's true.
there's no worry about like, right, that if this is what people want, I will continue to come and we're not at risk of having me just decide that I'm going to take my podcast somewhere else. So
Well, you know, and I've built a weird little community here, and I think it's full of love and people that and just enjoy a good story. So we will we will be here next this Thursday then back. Oh, also, Katie, I'll be really interested because Thursday is when we do New Music Tuesday on Thursday, where you bring a
Mhm.
song that you really like. And so that'll be fun. You'll mix that up
Okay.
because somebody was making fun of me the other day because I always make fun of Chase's music when he'd bring it because it was always emo. And like he's very consistent. It was consistent emo, a lot of it. And I'd make
Yeah.
fun of him, but this person was like, "Yeah, Sam makes fun of him for his emo music," and then Sam gives a 10-minute diatribe on why he liked the Radiohead song.
All right.
So it's six. It's all relative, but I'm excited to see what you bring for
Yeah.
that.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
And Chase isn't gone. Chase isn't disappeared. Uh, a couple potential bright spots on the horizon as far as Chase and other things with the Neverdaily is Chase, if he records a Neverdaily, will be in an evening time zone now almost steadily. We've got other creators like Kevin who has voiced interest in being on the taking over the Neverdaily for an episode here and there. So you'll hear from the rest of the Yahoos. Um, it's just a matter. It's like cat herding, right? We're a bunch of creatives with wild schedules and proclivities. So it's just a matter of getting us all in one place. Well,
Yeah.
without
Be
further ado,
good.
thanks, Katie. This was a lot of fun.
Was it? I hope so.
I loved it. I thought
I
it
mean,
was
I
great.
think they just accidentally signed up for a anatomy course.
No, well,
So,
the picture you sent me in text was like, I'm going to send you a picture of the fascia. That'll be a curious enough thing to bring everybody back in to listen to the episode that weren't on the backdoor because
yeah.
it looks like a murder scene. What you sent
Mhm.
me, so I'm
I mean, it
kind of
had to have
excited.
been to get it, I think, maybe. But that's kind of a fun. How
Yeah,
did we get these?
that guy's not alive. Whoever
Yeah.
gave up that fascia, you'll see in the picture. I'll post it. So anyway, hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll be back on Thursday with a lot more. And soup, soup, everybody.
Bye.
So, soup, soup, let's start the show.